チリミコラボ今日の特典は何にしようかこうから始めようかいいスタートダッシュは切れたか焦りすぎはダメさ足の裏のシワ伸ばして嫌な気持ちに持ってかないで Blow me タク上げてく Vibes 見習おう I gotta go かこつけるとこ間違っちゃダメさ言ったもんが小さいで次のバイス
Witam kolegę. Nie wiem co myślę o tym komentarzu, ale i tak miło znowu widzieć. Jak tam się żyje w tym 51 stanie, kolego? Rozumiem i współczuję. Szczęśliwie jeszcze jestem u siebie parę dni od robienia roboty w robocie. Oj, to na dosyć ostatnich dniach, ale wciąż. Lepiej jest nie mieć roboty, niż mieć robotę. Kasza gryczana z tym pechem, co żona zrobiła. Ta słynna kuchnia słowiańska fusion. Jak pewnie te francuski to całkiem długo będziesz miał, a to jak nauka języka. To jest jakiś taki dość intensywny crash kurs, jakby wiele dni w tygodniu, ale mimo wszystko i tak chyba będzie to całkiem długo trwało. No nie będę ukrywał, tak 16 godzinek tygodniowo przez 2 lata. Trochę więcej niż by mi się chciało przez jednoczesnego chodzenia do roboty.
信じてるライト消えたら結べばいい7でもそうしてきたでしょ本当はそばにいるだけでいいの消費期限はいつでもいいよたくさん知ってるいいところ君には絶対教えてあげないトランキーラトランキーラ手遅れだなんていらないでトランキーラトランキーラうるさい過去はもう忘れたトランキーラトランキーラ意識は朦朧メモをつるトランキーラトランキーラ君への思いはなんだっけ目をつぶってもっと君のことばかり考えてるってなぜだか怒ったほんとちっぽけなことだったごめんなさいが言えなくて変なプレートはここでどうしよう今までこんなこと何度もあった些細な喧嘩も楽しかった楽しかった楽しかった楽しかった楽しかった楽しかった楽しかった楽しかった楽しかったランキーラだなんて言って本当に酔ってるもうヘロヘロお酒で酔ってる君に酔ってるそんなのもうどっちでもいい嫌なこと忘れていいことちょっとやめられないし止まらない中毒性とかめんどくせえ記憶もほどほどまらいよランキーラだなんて言って本当に酔ってるもうヘロヘロお酒で酔ってる君に酔ってるそんなのもうどっちでもいい
No dobra, minutka i będziemy ruszali do Shibui z małym recapem, żeby nawet sobie samemu przypomnieć, gdzie my w sumie skończyliśmy te 3 tygodnie temu. O, okej. Jedziemy, odpalamy. Z tego co pamiętam, to została nam absolutna resztka tej godziny, tam Hami, Norikawa i Kano. Więc tak szybko zobaczmy, co tu się w ogóle działo w tym segmencie od 12. Achi. Uciekaliśmy sobie z Hitomi i nawiązywaliśmy romans, spotkaliśmy Kiryu. Skapnęliśmy się, że asasyn ma powody, żeby nas non-stop znajdować, bo jesteśmy niemądrzy. I odkryliśmy, że Archie zaczął swoją kampanię zbierania śmieci od obietnicy złożonej umierającej siostrze. I asasyn jeszcze implikował, że chce rozjebać Hitomi, bo tak będzie lepiej dla wszystkich. Japoński traveler był grillowany przez japońskiego Colombo i cóż, i dzwoniliśmy tam do korporacji z plotem, że kurczę, głupia sprawa, Edward Snowden na naszym tropie, tutaj próbowaliśmy tą intrygę robić. Colombo nas szkalował trochę za nasze dysfunkcyjne relacje rodzinne. I mamy keep-outa na zapychaniu kibla. Cóż, Utamy. Utamy powstrzymaliśmy rozstrój nerwowy pana Nagishity i przetrwaliśmy to do jakiejś 12:35, po czym się okazało, że ktoś zapierdolił Burning Hammera i tym kimś był śmieciarz. No i musimy teraz znaleźć Burning Hammera i rozdzieliliśmy się z naszą koleżanką szukać na mieście. U Kano żonglowaliśmy śledzenie typów. Odkryliśmy, że się strasznie kręcą w kółko i sobie nawzajem przekazują walizkę i trochę to jest bait. Oraz nawigowanie niebycia zbastowanym przez teścia, który bardzo chce się z nami spotykać teraz, kiedy mamy policyjną robotę. I czemu tu był Bedent? Bedent był dlatego, że wybraliśmy to, co było ważniejsze. Z tego, co widzę, tu nie było wyboru. Czy będziemy musieli znaleźć sposób, żeby przytrzymać starego, żeby nam nie wchodził w drogę. Nareszcie drugą ekipauty i został Minorikawa. Minorikawa, który tu powinien nam odblokować coś dalszego z siebie nie działo, więc musimy do niego iść i potem dzięki temu skończyć resztę plotów. A z Minorikawa zaczęliśmy nasze śledztwo, idąc do starego Achiego i odkrywając, że stary jest mastermindem osiedlowej sieci webcamów, dzięki której bronią się przed chuliganami. I było backstory, że Achi założył stary gang SOS do wygigantyzmu. Ale bez Achiego gang zszedł na złą drogę. O, proszę, nawet mamy tutaj szybkie sumary. Ale nam nie mówi nic po tym, że nasza asystentka Chiaki Iso jest lepsza w rozmawianiu z ludźmi i trochę jej nie wychodzi robienia materiału do artykułu Shibuya Now. Minorikawa stood on the sidewalk, weighing his options. Chiaki's phone call had thrown him for a loop. A, dzwoniła do nas, że właśnie, że nic nie idzie, co ja mam robić, ola Boga. He had expected her to be anxious about doing interviews, but wow, she was a real basket case. Still, that didn't change the fact that he had a schedule of his own to keep. Surveillance camera story had to be his top priority. Chiaki would just have to find some way to fumble through things on her end. He headed down Dogenzaka, scanning his surroundings as he went. There were cameras set up on streetlights all over the place. There were so many, it was hard to believe he'd never noticed them before. One over there, another just over here. Electronic eyes peering down on passers-by from high above, where they were tougher to spot. Just how were the people who came to Shibuya reacting to this situation? Hey! You there! Minorikawa called out to a man riding by on a bicycle. Hey you! Stop! The man brought his bike to a sudden stop. Who is man? Taisei Yasuda, proprietor of a knick-knack shop in Udagawacho. Roughly 30 minutes earlier, while he was wandering around the JR tracks picking up lost independent items, Achi foisted off his trash onto him, and so he's in a bit of a foul mood. Since then, he's been going along on his bicycle, still picking up things from the roadside. There's a trunk on the back of his bike, where he stores his finds. Huh? What's the matter? He asked. Hi, the name's Minoru Minorikawa. I'm a freelance writer. Okay? I'm just doing interviews for a magazine, and I'd like to talk to you. A magazine? Which one? Four-star General Gossip. Minorikawa did his best to sound proud. Oh, well, I'm actually in a bit of a hurry here. Minorikawa soldiered on. See that? He pointed at one of the nearby surveillance cameras. What? The man asked. The blimp? A massive blimp was indeed drifting slowly overhead. Blimp. type of aircraft that floats using the lift provided by an enormous envelope filled with lighter-than-air gas. This envelope, the balloon, is often used for corporate advertising. This particular blimp has been pattering about the skies above Shibuya since last night. Ayakamiki, która często się pojawia na reklamach różnych, to nie jest tak bardzo element metaplotu, to jest jakby prawdziwa piosenkarka i jakby gra zamówiła / licencjonowała jej piosenkę na, jakby wiecie, anime opening / theme song gry. To była ta piosenka, której japoński traveler sobie słuchał dla relaksacji i jest tam dzwonkiem na telefon. Więc tak kinda sorta się pojawia, że to jest ten recurring theme, ale generuje, jak zapłacili za licencję, to już muszą się, wiecie, naszpanować, a też pozwala im to photoshopować jakieś losowe reklamy, jak robi zdjęcie. No, the camera! The camera watched them both in uncaring silence. Oh, that. What about it? What do you mean, what about it? Those cameras have been installed all throughout Shibuya. They're taking in anything and everything. Privacy be damned. 1984, dosłownie. A shocked pallor came to the man's face. Oh, really? He muttered uneasily to himself. I guess I should be careful next time I go picking stuff up. Hey, what are you talking about? Minorikawa asked. Oh, nothing, just stuff. Way to dodge the question entirely. Anyhow, I think there are some good things about the cameras too, the man said hurriedly. Oh? Minorikawa asked. Such as? Well, I mean, they must have helped catch some crooks, right? Yeah, I think you're right about that. Jak to Tewery, ponieważ trochę się spóźniłeś, nie straciłeś wiele, robisz taki szybki recap, patrząc na Menusa, co my robiliśmy 3 tygodnie temu i właśnie odpaliliśmy Minorikawę, który ruszył dalej robić reportaż i wpadł na typa, któremu Achi kiedyś dał śmieci, bo połączyła ich miłość do zbierania rzeczy. Yeah, I think you're right about that. Oh, am I? The man looked shocked to have his own statement confirmed. Are you hiding something from me? Huh? No, nothing in particular. The man shook his head vehemently. Nothing at all, really. Well, whatever, Mindarikawa said. In any case, even if the cameras are helping in assisting criminals, there are some places where people just don't want to be watched. What? For instance, how would you like it if someone set up a security camera inside your home? What do you mean? I mean, a burglar might try to get into your home. If you had a security camera, you could be alerted right away. Isn't that kind of an extreme argument? Nope! You're the one making the extreme argument here. What? The man stared, bewildered. You're saying it's okay for folks to film people around town as much as they might like, but not to take a look inside people's houses. Yeah, guess I am, the man mumbled. Minorikawa snorted. You don't think too deeply about things, do you? He mocked. The man huffed in indignation. I don't see the problem, he said. I mean, it's a normal enough opinion. To want to bring down crime but also protect privacy? Well, yeah, so if they're just going to set up cameras around town, I'm okay with that. Minorikawa grinned inwardly. You're being naive, he said. Way too naive. Naive about what? By now, the man was getting worked up. Once you start letting people watch you some of the time, you'll eventually let them do it more and more. That's how the world works. A simple change in camera angle is all it'll take to steal the last traces of your privacy away. That's kind of funny coming from you. Doesn't forced general gossip get all its scuttlebutt by invading the privacy of others? Since when are you people concerned with personal privacy? Meaning what exactly? Minorikawa asked. You know damn well what I mean. Have you no shame? I've got nothing to be ashamed about, Minorikawa exclaimed. If some celebrity scandal breaks, I write it up in the form of a top-class, socially conscious exposé. That's the Minorikawa seal of quality. The man rolled his eyes. Please, as if anyone has ever heard of that. You're everyday freelance reporter, you would say something about how security firms have no right to use cameras to disrupt personal privacy. But not me. Oh no. I'm the only guy who'd write a first-class piece on the subject. And do you wanna know why? The man's only response was a doubtful look. Because privacy only exists for me to utterly demolish it. Minorikawa finished with a prideful grin. That's nothing but journalistic arrogance, the man railed. Oh yeah? Yeah, I'd rather have a surveillance cameras any day, if the alternative is some weird gossip piece. O, witamy FGC celebrytę. Od razu powiem, Carlos, będzie bitka, będzie Pride UFC cameo w tej grze, ale jeszcze za całkiem parę godzin. Na razie jest tylko werbalna bitka między najpotężniejszym dziennikarzem świata i losowym właścicielem kantoru oraz w sumie jest trochę bitki tu, kiedy gramy Yakuza postacią, która żyje w Yakuza uniwersum z random encounterami co skrzyżowanie. Ale niestety to będzie za chwilkę, teraz musimy inne timeline'y dokończyć. This time, Minorikawa didn't have a handy retort. An awkward silence descended over the pair. Right, I see. Minorikawa muttered to himself as he busily scribbled in his notepad. The man was visibly taken aback. Thank you for your cooperation, Minorikawa said at last. You gave me some good stuff. He held up a hand to forestall an angry retort. I realize I probably got you a bit riled up. You'll have to forgive me. Huh? The man peered up at Minorikawa in disbelief. It's just my interview style. Sorry, I know it's a little unorthodox. Buddy, you're a weirdo, you know that? The man said. Yeah, I hear that a lot. Minorikawa laughed. So can I go now? Sure. I'll quote you as Passerby A in my article. Sure, whatever, the man muttered. He quickly sped off on his bicycle. Minorikawa now had some material for his surveillance camera piece. He wanted to organize what he'd managed to put together so far. He decided to head toward his next interview location, keeping an eye out for a cafe where he could stop to work on his copy. He used the map included in the project proposal to guide him. Ale bym se poszedł do Lucky Duck baru. O kurczę. Widzicie to na tych zielonych banerach. O, a potem do Miami Garden zachlać mordę. O, ale... O, jeszcze włoskiego sklepu. O, jak mi się ta ulica podoba. It was hard to read the words and make out the details, but it looked like the Nokane building, where the Burning Hammer demo was being held, was just down Center Guy. There was no indication of which floor the event would be held on, however. That made him a little anxious, but he'd probably be able to find someone to point him in the right direction once he got to the building. He spotted a cafe up ahead. Collabo cafe? Coffee, please! He shouted as he strode inside. He slumped down in an open chair. Hopefully, he'd be able to hole up in here until 1 o'clock, working on his article. If he couldn't have it done by then, finishing the whole issue by the end of the day would be a tall order. Smigler, zaczynasz rozumieć, dlaczego Minorikawa jest moim ulubionym protagonistą tej gry. Tama może być moim ulubionym jakby plotlinem on the strength of Mr. Yanagashita, ale Minorikawa jest by far moim ulubionym protagiem. Achi close second, ale pan dziennikarz jednak ma vibe. He pulled a cigarette from his overcoat as he waited for his computer to boot up. Having a smoke was Minorikawa's little trigger for going into writing mode. Writing mode. The state of being in a mood to write some text. As Minorikawa goes about his job, he switches between writing mode, interview mode, food mode, and sleep mode. When busy, he'll sometimes go into writing mode and food mode at the same time, sometimes even straying into sleep mode in the midst of food mode. When he's even busier, he'll eat and write mid-interview while nodding off. This is known as ultimate mode. Czy ten fajek jest mega gruby? Nie. Na moje oko to jest normalny fajek, tylko tak wygląda, wiesz, z perspektywy zdjęcia. No i heal mode, myślę, się włącza jak interview mode wchodzi za mocno. He stuck the cigarette in his mouth and lit it up. With the first heavy draw of smoke, he felt his mind focus. The rough idea for his article came to his head nearly fully formed. All he needed to do now was get it all written down. Finally, his laptop finished booting up. "Took you long enough, pal," he muttered to the computer. His hands leapt to the keyboard like a predator pouncing on its prey. In a matter of moments, he has hit his stride. His fingers clicked away. One by one, lines of text filled up his screen. Kitanes! Filter. A waitress stepped up beside him. "Excuse me, sir." But Minorikawa was in writing mode. He didn't even hear her. "Sir? Sir, I beg your pardon." Again, Minorikawa was deaf to the waitress' attempts to get his attention. Grafomanie u Minorikawy czy u gry wideo? "Sir, excuse me." The waitress smacked the table. "Quiet!" Minorikawa snapped. He slammed the table right back. No nie wiem, Carlos, moim zdaniem pan Minorikawa to jest jakby najwybitniejszy dziennikarz od czasu Huntera Thompsona. He slammed the table right back. Szczerze mówiąc, Fortnite Shibuya Scramble jest chyba w mojej topce visual noveli. Nie jestem super znawcą, ale w całkiem kilka grałem. I actually Shibuya jest... dobrze deliveruje na byciu Cioa i ma nie to jej branching interaktywności. Plus trochę tam żonglowanie nastrojami też ma swój, powiedzmy, urok. Emo game good. He slammed the table right back. "Don't interrupt me when I'm working. Not if you know what's good for you." The waitress didn't so much as flinch. She leaned in aggressively, getting right in Minorikawa's face. Ikumi Miya, employee at Collabo Cafe. While appearing cute and demure at first glance, she's quite strong-willed and frightening when angry. She works nights at a place called the Scolding Pub, where customers rent private rooms in which they are scolded at length by attractive girls. One middle-aged businesswoman once told her, "Your face looks simply marvelous when you're angry." This sure is a club! "Sir, I hate to bother you, but I have to ask you to please refrain from smoking." Minorikawa blinked. "Huh? This is a non-smoking establishment, sir." "No smoking?" Minorikawa asked. The cigarette bobbed in his mouth as he spoke. The waitress pointed sharply to the sign on the wall. The words, "No smoking," were spelled out clear as day. "We ask that patrons please not smoke so that other customers can fully enjoy the aroma of their coffee." The waitress drew herself up in arrogant triumph. The woman sitting at the table next made a face as she tried to fan the smoke away with her hands. Customers all around the shop were glaring at him. "You guys don't know the first thing about the aroma of coffee," Minorikawa scoffed. "The scent of coffee only truly comes to life amidst the choking stench of tobacco smoke." The waitress's only response was to jab her finger again. O, mamy pojedynek na paluchy. But this time, she didn't point at the sign. She pointed to the door. Sir, if you're going to smoke, please take it outside. Ja jednak... Minorikawa jest zbyt Sigma, żeby słuchać kelnerki i swojego kawusia bez, kurczę, papierosa. Sometime later, sitting inside the Café Lautrec, Minorikawa lit up his third cigarette. At last, a safe refuge. It had taken him quite some time to find a place that allowed smoking after he got kicked out of the first cafe. In recent years, many cafes and restaurants have phased out the concept of the smoking section in favor of prohibiting smoking across the board. This makes a place like Lautrec especially important to smokers. There are large air vents in the ceiling to help keep the interiors more agreeable for those who do not smoke. Now he was in a rush to make up for lost time. His fingers flew over the keyboard at lightning speed. The more he wrote, the harder he focused. At this rate, he'd have the story wrapped up in no time. Today, you hear me? A voice intruded suddenly on his awareness. One of the other customers was shouting. You're breaking up with that fellow today! Minorikawa's fingers drifted to a halt. O, to teść Kano, naszego ulubionego, najmniej kompetentnego policjanta w Japonii. I przypominam, bo to było na recapie, gdzie był tylko Smiglev. Kano jest chwilowo utknięty w bad-endzie, bo rzuca robotę, żeby nie stracić małżeństwa, więc prawdopodobnie będziemy musieli wykorzystać Minorikałę, żeby powstrzymać teścia od wpadnięcia na gliniarza, żeby, wiecie, móc rozwiązać case. He looked around to see where the voice had come from. An older man, red in the face, was shouting at the young woman who sat across from him. Please, Dad, the woman pleaded. Stop. You're making a scene. Ah, a father and daughter then. It was rare nowadays to see a father behave so imperiously towards his own daughter. Just how sheltered had he been trying to keep her? Minorikawa couldn't see her face from where he was sitting, but his interest was piqued. A, moi drodzy... Zapomniałem, że trzeba alt-tabować, żeby móc po bożemu pola zrobić. Więc koledzy, w jaki sposób... O nie... Źle cofnąłem. W jaki sposób mamy najlepsze szanse, żeby jakby opóźnić / zatrzymać w knajpie teścia. Z jednej strony, jak się przesiądziemy... coś ten... Przepraszam, bo coś ten skip tutaj właśnie lekko działa. Jak się przesiądziemy, no to jest szansa, że będzie jakaś imba, co go może zatrzymać, ale z drugiej strony może tego, że jest imba, to wyjdzie z kawiarni, w której mógłby siedzieć. Więc czy Good Guy Minorikawa, czy podsłuchiwanie inby Minorikawa? No, mamy tutaj poważny remis. Carlos, musisz się dołączyć. Decydujemy numerkami w czacie na głosowaniu. Nie przejmuj się tym, że wpadłeś w połowie opowieści. To jest 5 semi-osobnych storyline'ów na raz. Bedendy są śmieszne. Go with the vibes. Nie wiesz, ale musisz. Najwyżej się będziemy z ciebie śmieli, że jesteś najgorszy w grę wideo, ale no musisz ten tiebreak. Okej. Na przyszłość rób jedyneczką, bo niestety tak działa. Paul, ale no mamy już decyzję podjętą. Jednak no dziennikarz, zwłaszcza dla Gossipragu, no to musi dobrego gossipa wyczaić. Should he move to another seat where he could take a look? Gathering up his laptop, Minorikawa switched to a different table. I don't care if I'm making a scene, the other man was saying. I'm not leaving until I see you've cut ties with that boy. Do you understand? I understand that you're never happy unless you get your way. You're acting like a spoiled child. Don't you talk back to me. You don't understand your own situation. You're letting your emotions cloud your judgment without putting any thought into your future. No, Dad, you're the one who doesn't understand. The father-daughter argument was getting more and more heated. Dad was clearly furious. Minorikawa shifted closer, curious to see what might happen next. Then he saw the daughter's face and gasped out loud. Oh, hey, I know you. Wait, you're on TV, right? The father scowled up at him. You must be mistaken, he said gruffly. Jeśli pamiętacie, to jak detektyw Sasayama nam ukradł Kanoi zdjęcia w telefonie, to ona wygląda zupełnie jak jakaś sławna aktorka. No, I'm sure of it, Minorikawa said. Gah, what show am I thinking of? The young woman seemed disconcerted by his enthusiasm. Who was she? He called out to a waitress who was passing by. Hey miss, do you know this girl? Kelnerka przypomina mi ta, którą Achi uratował przed jakąś darzami na samym początku gry. She's an actress, right? It's right on the tip of my tongue. The waitress ignored him, but Minorikawa was undeterred. I know this. Weren't you in one of those TV dramas or something? Minorikawa is probably thinking of a series starring Masami Nagahama, possibly Operation Kochas, The Last Frenchman, Touched by a Tuna, or Sailor Moon Pies, all of which received high viewer ratings and are fondly remembered in the public consciousness. Right, we're leaving, the father grumbled. He rose from his seat, radiating aggravation. Huh? The young woman said, but, not waiting to hear her objection, he grabbed her by the hand and stormed off out of the cafe. Hey, hold on! Minorikawa squawked. His plea fell on deaf ears. All he could do was watch them go, then shuffle back to his seat in disappointment. Damn it! What was her name? I should have asked for her autograph. Mumbling under his breath, Minorikawa went back to typing. What's that? His hands went still as a strange noise intruded on his reverie. Whatever it was close by. What in the world is that sound? Słuchajcie, mnie ten dźwięk już wkurwia. Co znajdziemy? Pakające urządzenie i wypierdolimy? Czy jednak straciliśmy starczająco czasu na inbę? Włączamy Ultimate Mode, piszemy. O kurczę. Znowu remis. Smigu musisz. Smigu, wiem, że możesz mieć teraz pracę, ale nie będziesz robił pracy, kiedy tak pika. Okej, trzeba się pozbyć tego pieroństwa. I need to get the bottom of this, or I'll never be able to concentrate. O, to dziękuję za good guy choice. Jakby Smiglaw zostawił pikanie i sobie poszedł, to... Uff. Just where the heck is that sound coming from? He searched his surroundings for a moment, and quickly discovered that the noise was coming from his own bag. He pulled out one of the most important tools of his trade. A bug detector. An instrument for finding listening devices. Since wireless listening devices emit radio signals, bug detectors are designed to use wide area receivers to reveal their presence. Using a detector to find something in this fashion is known as fox hunting. Huh. Huh. It was on. And it had picked up a signal. To a reporter, information was live. That made owning a bug detector a sensible precaution in his line of work. With the device in hand, Minorikawa casually scanned the area. Eventually, he zeroed in on the signal. He stood up. "Everyone, your attention, please," he announced. "Someone set up a listening device in here." Several cafe patrons turned their heads in disbelief. A woman wreathed in pungent perfume flashed him a disagreeable look. "Oh, come on, that's ridiculous," she huffed. "There's something fishy going on." "The only thing fishy right now is you," the woman declared disdainfully. "Why don't you get out of here and let everyone enjoy their meals?" "No, I smell a scoop." "You what?" "You, what's your name?" "None of your business, that's what. Now hurry up and stop that awful noise." The other customers were starting to murmur loudly. "There's a listening device here, folks," Minorikawa said. "How can that not bother you? Do you know where it could be?" "Excuse me," the woman called out. "Oh shit!" To jest żona Kenjiego, japońskiego travelera. Więc jeśli ma na sobie pluskwę, to bo założyli jej gliniarze, bo część kidnapping tutaj sytuacji. A może głębsza intryga? Bo jednak tam są, wiecie, intrygi z Resident Evil wirusem w Afryce i tak dalej. "Excuse me," the woman called out. "Could someone please do something about this man?" A waitress hurried over. "Sir, please, you're bothering our other customers. There's a listening device in here. That's what people should be bothered by right now." The waitress took a reflexive step backward at the words listening device. "You're the one who's intruding on everyone," the woman shouted. "Honestly, could you please stop that racket? It's not me making the racket, it's the bug tracker. Just who the hell do you think you are? Police! Somebody call the police!" "Ma'am, please calm down," the waitress said. "There are other customers here and..." "I'll calm down once you get this disrespectful bore out of here. All I'm doing is sharing the truth. You can't kick me out for that." The waitress wavered, clearly intimidated by both of them. "You've sure got a lot of nerve," the woman snapped at Minorikawa. "Go play detective someplace else." "I'm not a detective. I'm a reporter." "Really now? By far my least favorite profession." "Oh ho? And why is that? Did someone write a story about you, lady? Got skeletons in your closet?" "You shut your mouth. How dare you?" "Yeah, I smell a scoop here, alright. The smell is coming from you." "Oh, stop it with your scoop nonsense already. It's no use trying to hide things from me. I have no idea what you're talking about." "Oh, yes I do, lady. Go to hell. After you. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah." As they shouted over each other, their words blurred together until they were barely words anymore. The onlookers could hear only indistinct, meaningless ravings. And still, the yelling went on and on and on. Eventually, there came the sound of approaching sirens. But even when a police cruiser pulled up outside the cafe, the two didn't slow their bickering. Phew. No, Wydaje mi się, że tutaj oba wybory trzeba będzie zmienić. Drugi, żeby nie utknąć w bedendzie, a pierwszy... No czuję, że to odblokuje nam ścieżkę Shinikano. Więc od razu, jak są jeden po drugim, to spróbujmy oba, nie? No, he reminded himself that he needed to finish his article. Ultimate mode. Besides, if this young lady looked anything like her father, he'd just as soon pass. Minorikawa went back to his typing. It took a few minutes to re-establish his writing groove, with the two still bickering across the room, but thankfully, he soon regained his focus. Okej, możemy tutaj skipnąć to znalezienie dźwięku. Well, never mind. I need to focus on finishing this article. A my tylko mamy w głowie, że tutaj babeczka sobie kurczę casualowo chodzi z pluskwą. Minorikawa tried to immerse himself in his writing again. Before long, he stopped worrying about the curious son. Time passed. Eventually, the pace of his writing slowed down a bit. The Minorikawa glanced at his watch. It was later than he'd thought. Pretty soon... No, Carlos, możesz być dobry w to całe czytanie, jednak się okazuje, kurczę. Pretty soon he was going to have to head over to get an interview from the diet drink people. He reached into his bag for the project proposal to double-check the demo location. Huh? The proposal, it's... gone. Crap. Where the heck did it go? He checked all around the table, but he didn't see it anywhere. Maybe he'd left it at the other cafe, the non-smoking place. Well, he didn't have time to go back for it now. His phone rang. What now? Minorikawa snapped as he answered it. A tiny squeak came through the receiver. It was followed by the sound of sniffing sobs. I'm sorry. I just... Chiaki? Was she done with her interviews, maybe? It's no use. People won't stop to talk no matter how hard I try. Her voice broke up into further sobs. Oh, come on! This again? Really? I can't do it. Don't worry about paying me, just please let me go home. Minorikawa was already operating on a too tight schedule. He didn't have time to worry about Chiaki on top of it all. Look, just slow down and take a breath. Try and keep at it a little longer. He should have seen this coming when he first called her. Her shyness was practically pathological. But if he cut her loose now, all this frustration would be for nothing. But I can't do it, Chiaki whined again. Please, just forget you ever called me. She hung up before Minorikawa could get another word in. He tried calling her back, but she didn't pick up. Damn it, Chiaki! Don't you dare bail on me! Leaving money for his coffee on the table, Minorikawa jumped up and bolted from the cafe. The plaza outside Shibuya Station was as crowded as ever. Minorikawa looked around, but there was no sign of Chiaki. She bailed. Minorikawa dropped to his knees in despair. His last hope had up and left. There was no one else he could even ask. Damn it! Alright then, fine. I'll do it myself. He dragged himself back to his feet. Alright, listen up, he shouted at the passing crowd. I'm doing street interviews here, starting now. You guys, shut up and help me. I mean, don't shut up, but help me. he wound up blowing way too much time just to get 2 pages worth of content, leaving himself unable to finish the other articles. In the end, the issue of 4-star general gossip never made it to the newsstands, and Heaven Publishing went down for the count. I w ten sposób drugi japoński traveler umarł. Ciężka sprawa. Ale u Kano apparently odblokowaliśmy dalsze dzieje, które nie są bad endem. Oraz z tego co pamiętam, to tutaj spotkaliśmy młodą dziennikarkę próbującą zrobić mały wywiad. I nie pamiętam co wybraliśmy, ale może jak wybierzemy inaczej, to jakby ona dostanie swój interview piece. Tak, zagadaliśmy z nią i to poszło awkward. Więc zobaczmy, czy zignorowanie jej coś zmieni w timeline'ie może. Najwyżej cofniemy do pierwotnego wyboru. Ah, she can be involved with this, can she? Susama flashed him a skeptical look. Don't let your preconceptions get the better of you. Could get you killed. Fixed notions one has about something before the facts are known can be a hindrance to thinking freely. If you think about it too hard, you might fall victim to the preconception that preconceptions themselves are always bad. I know that, but still, she doesn't come across as involved to me. Kano knew better than to judge people based on appearance, but he was still convinced the girl wasn't part of his gang. She just struck him as far too, well, inept, really. Alright, I'll go look into the girl, Sasayama said. You keep following the attaché case. Kano nodded and hurried after the man. Okej, tutaj chyba... O nie możemy skipować, czyli inaczej jakoś idą rzeczy. The man's black garb made him stand out in the crowd at the intersection. It occurred to Kano that all of the criminals who'd handled the attaché case had been wearing that same black clothing. That fact made the whole situation even weirder. Could they really be ignorant that they were being followed while they were all wearing the same eye-catching outfit? It was more like they were going out of their way to make sure the investigators spotted them. That still didn't provide any clues as to what they were after though. Oops. The longer Kano kept tailing these guys, the less it made sense. Nie. Okej, czyli możemy skipować dalej, co znaczy, że zmieniliśmy wybór, timeline poszedł dalej i odblokowaliśmy teraz Minorikałę dzięki temu. Mamy Kano odblokowanego dzięki Minorikałę. Kano jest albo wiecie co... Ups. Tylko muszę taba, żeby się nie robiło. Koledzy, wy możecie mi powiedzieć, kogo ciągniemy dalej. To jest jakby mały wybór, bo teraz i tak się wszystkie elementy układanki będą układały, te wszystkie pauty na koniec godziny 12 rozciągały, ale czy chcemy sobie wrócić do Kano dla odmiany, czy już możliwie Minorikałę do końca pociągnąć, bo mieliśmy taki bloczek Minorikały. Mały wybór, ale jak wolicie. Dwójeczka, dobra, to jest mały wybór, nie będę na brybowców czekał. Skończmy pana Minorikałę. Może dojedziemy już do końca godziny z nim. Było to, już byliśmy, że było później niż myśleliśmy i... Chiaki? Was she done with her interviews, maybe? It's no use. People won't stop to talk no matter how hard I try. Okej, czyli ten sam mniejszy kryzys tożsamości, bo zamiast spierdolić robotę, to jej de facto nie zaczęła. Her voice broke up into further sobs. Czyli jakby jest szansa, że jakby zagadała z kimkolwiek, to czy coś. Look, I've got my own problems to deal with. You're just going to have to find some way to manage. But I can't... Sorry, I'm hanging up now. And so he did. He had to hurry. Had to get to the demo venue. But he'd lost the map and forgotten the location. Think, man, he told himself. Where would they hold an event like this? Probably someplace big, right? There ought to be a guide or someone out front too. With these assumptions in mind, Minorikawa broke into a run, searching ahead as he went. He stopped when he caught sight of a particular multi-tenant office building. A whole stream of women were filing inside. All of them looked a little heavy too. Pay dirt! This had to be the health food company's sales demo. He hurried into the building. The women were queued down the hallway. This was definitely the place then. More confident by the moment, Midoriko made his way up the stairs. Finally, he reached the front of the line. There was a notice posted outside the doorway ahead. Midorikawa read it out loud. Auditions for the starring role in Sun TV's Sumo Queen 2? A suspense drama about a string of murders that crop up while a group of female sumo wrestlers tour the country. The Maegashira, Komusubi Sekiwake and Ozeki, the 5th through 2nd place wrestlers from both East and West, are all killed in sequence, leaving only the 2 top-ranked Yokozuna. With the real killer still unknown, things come to a heated climax in the ring during the final match, when the loser tearfully confesses to her crimes. It concludes with the victorious wrestler, who had also been playing the part of detective, sorrowfully looking at the culprit in the eye and stating, "It's off to the big house with you." It was a sequel series to a recent TV drama featuring full-figured actresses. "That's it!" Minorikawa exclaimed, a new proposal springing fully formed into his mind. He felt as he'd been struck by a bolt of divine inspiration. Big bodies, bigger names. A new arena opens for aspiring plus-size actresses. Never mind the diet during demo. This was going to be Minorikawa's big story. Minorikawa managed to meet the deadline. The show, however, wound up being a massive flop. Sales of that issue of 4-star general gossip were likewise lackluster, with an unprecedented number of copies going unsold. Mr. Toyama's debts continued to spiral out of control, and before long, Heaven Publishing was no more. Ja wiem, że protagonist privilege, ale kurczę, że wydarzenia sales pitchu Burning Hammer są potężniejsze od Sumo Queen 2. Trochę niespodziewane. Więc tu chyba jednak wszystko wisi na Kano, żeby odblokować. A Kano, jeśli dobrze pamiętam, to dalej idziemy sobie na... tak. Śledzimy za typem w czarnym stroju, gaijinem. Wspominamy flashbacki do mądrości detektywa Tateno. I normalnie byśmy wpadli na teścia, ale nie tym razem. Thinking back to the way Tateno had put his life on the line to rescue a bunch of strangers, it kind of feel all the more raw about just tailing these syndicate members. Letting the crooks just wander around wasn't going to bring Maria Osawa to safety. Of that, Kano was now certain. Shoot. He's bleeding pretty bad, he heard someone say behind him. He turned and saw two young men carrying another along. There was a towel wrapped tightly around the first's head. Hey, what happened? Kano asked. Shut your mouth! Kano blanched. Can't the attitude. He's trying to help. Another voice cut in. It was Sasayama. Had he finished dealing with the girl by the station then? A tak, bo on odprowadzał tą okienterkę. Znaczy tą Chiaki. What happened to your friend? Out of my way, man. I ain't afraid to kick your ass. Look, cut the crap and let me take a quick look. Sasayama unwrapped the towel from around the young man's head. Ooh, that's nasty. The young guy was a little more than a kid. His head was soaked red with blood. He appeared to be unconscious. Słuchajcie, jesteśmy gliniarzami. Przychodzi dwóch randomów niosących totalnie skatowanego dzieciaka. Czy... No i właśnie, czy dzwonienie po dzieciakową policję, czy zganiamy dzieciaka do szpitala, bo... On nie wygląda chłop dobrze. Mamy tutaj presję czasu, jednak kidnapping, śledztwo i tak dalej, ale... No ale okej, cienka niebieska linia. Gliniarze do gliniarza. They couldn't just leave him like this, but they were in the middle of a job. You should probably call juvenile affairs. Juvenile affairs. Part of the communal safety section, which handles crimes pertaining to public decency, finances, pollution and so on. Juvenile affairs deals with misconduct and criminal activity involving minors. Since many SOS members are underage, the Shibuya Precinct's Juvenile Affairs Division has been ramping up its efforts to deal with the gang. Although one detective in particular has been using this as an excuse to go on patrol at arcades, ignoring his duties in order to fuel his video game addiction. Detective Gamer? Kano took out his cell phone so he could call the precinct, but Sasayama stopped him, then showed the two youngsters his badge. Oh crap, you a cop? Sasayama nodded. Who you kids with? The BAMF? BAMF's Shibuya number 2 gang. Its leader, Suhei Ikari, has gathered up some big mean dudes in an attempt to make Shibuya his turf. The gang's leadership is inferior to that of SOS, but on an individual level, its members tend to be stronger in a fight. Word is that the rise of the BAMFs is one of the reasons SOS has been growing more combative recently. BAMFs? SOS? SOS, admitted one of the young men after some hesitation. Who attacked you? Yo, it ain't like that. What was it like then? Infighting? The young man was silent. Sasayama must have been right on the mark. In the course of his police duties, Kano picked up a fair amount of street gossip from the young people in Shibuya. Lately, the scuttlebutt about the legendary SOS gang was that they were dealing with some internal strife. Look, don't worry about it, I get it. There's a hospital just down that way. Hurry up and get him there. The young man batted off Sasayama's offered hand, then quickly hauled his friend away. Sounds like SOS is on the verge of breaking up with all this infighting, huh? Kano asked. He kept his eyes on the young man as they headed off. Yeah, seems like it's been pretty rough. You know, what with the original leader leaving and all. The detectives in juvenile affairs were well acquainted with SOS's original leader. That would be Achi Endo. Initially,
SOS was nothing more than a small group of like-minded young people who hung out together. But as its membership grew, the general public began referring to the group as a gang. Word has it that back then when Achi was in charge, gang members never started any conflicts themselves, but simply responded in kind when others brought fights their way. The stories were like something out of some after-school special. There were tales of them taking down gangs who sold drugs to kids, or breaking into Yakuza front offices to save their friends. The detectives with juvenile affairs took these stories with a grain of salt. But if there really were young people like that out there, kinda hope to meet them someday. The detectives had to hurry to catch up with the man they were tailing. He was still strolling along, seemingly in no particular hurry. They kept him in sight as he crossed another pedestrian overpass and circled back around. Still following the same MO, huh? Sasayama grumbled. Guess so, Kano said. How did the things go with the girl? He was careful not to take his eyes off the mark as they talked. You were right. She's not a part of this. As one of those street evangelists or something. Oh yeah? Yeah. She kept asking me, but are you really happy with your life? Wigged me out. I bailed out of there quick. So, Sasayama? I'm thinking the attaché case is going to get handed off again any moment now. Huh? Sasayama peered at the mark, who was scanning the plaza he just entered, apparently looking for someone. I take one side, you take the other? Kano suggested. Sasayama's eyes went wide. You see what now? That way, we apprehend both perps involved with the handoff. Sasayama didn't reply. Look, HQ isn't thinking about the hostage's safety, Kano said. But that needs to take priority here. Sasayama's face took on a rare solemnity. Disobeying direct orders is not something to do lightly. A detective's behavior is governed by the Local Public Service Act. Article 32 states that a detective is to faithfully follow the orders of his superior in the course of his duties. Violating this is punishable by a warning, reduction in pay, suspension from duty, or dismissal. In the event of a warning, not only is the individual expected to submit a formal letter of apology, but pay raises may be delayed or performance bonuses cut. Then, after a moment, he added, "But I'm on board. I'm sick of all this wandering around anyway." "That's the Sasayama I know," Kano replied with a chuckle. Sasayama gave him a silent thumbs up. The two detectives took up position on opposite sides of the plaza. Kano called up Sasayama on his cell phone. "You ready?" he asked. "Just give the word." There were only two non-Japanese people in the nearby crowd. Both were eyeing their surroundings anxiously. Kano was certain the handoff was about to take place. And then... well, if it isn't Mr. Toyama. Kano's ears perked up at the sound of an aggressive greeting, the voice dripping with faint cheer. He whirled around to see two rough-looking young men confronting a father and his daughter. The older man looked pained. "Please just hold on," he said placatingly. "I thought we agreed on 4 o'clock?" The young man snarled. "Don't you try playing dumb with us, buddy." "It's nothing like that, I swear. My girl was just hungry, so I just stepped out to..." "Yeah? How come you just didn't order delivery, huh?" Yes, right. I suppose that would work too." "Don't you me, man." Kano watched the argument uneasily. The stranger's altercation put him in a bit of a spot. The crook he was tailing probably wouldn't risk handing off the case with an uproar like this going on. What's going on over there? Sasayama asked. I'm not sure, Kano replied. Looks like some kind of argument. The suspects are gonna get wary on us. It's gonna screw up the whole handoff. Tak, to jest redaktor tego Gossipraga z córeczką. Też pamiętam, że na niego chyba wpadliśmy tamą, jak tam szukaliśmy na mieście Burning Hammera, więc możliwe, że coś w timeline możemy zmienić, żeby na to Yakuza nie wpadł. Nie wiem, zobaczymy. The suspects are gonna get wary on us. It's gonna screw up the whole handoff. Yeah, I know. So do something about it and get over here, Sasayama said. What? Find some way to shut them up, and then get over here. Ah, sure. Alright. Kano headed toward the argument. He was only halfway there when Sasayama called again. He sounded panicked. Hey, Kano! He made a run for it. Huh? Oh crap! The man they'd been tailing had vanished in the brief time Kano had taken his eyes off of him. Wait up! Kano shouted. Sasayama was racing after the suspect, and Kano rushed to join him. The man was surprisingly quick, however, and neither detective managed to catch up. In fact, they soon lost sight of him amidst the teeming crowds. Frantically, they dashed through the streets as fast and as hard as they could. We lost him, Sasayama admitted at last. Damn it. He stamped his foot on the asphalt in disgust. Director Kuze? Kano gasped over the wireless. I'm sorry, but we lost the man with the attaché case. There was a heavy sigh on the other end of the line. Kano braced himself. He wasn't going to be able to whistle out of this one with just an I'll do better next time. Sasayama, Kano, get your asses back to the precinct. Kuze out. With that, Kuze switched off the line. Back to the precinct. Kano knew full well what they meant. They were off the case. There was a gnawing in his gut. If those two punks hadn't shown up... No. If that father and his daughter hadn't turned up, he might have been able to apprehend the suspect. Don't let it get you down, Sasayama said. I mean, paper pushing can be kinda fun. The look on his face, however, suggested he didn't think it was fun at all. Not one bit. With the air of two men heading to an execution, Kano and Sasayama trudged back toward the Shibuya precinct. No i też przytkane. Wydaje mi się, że to u Tamy jest do odetkania. Bo ona czy przewinę, żeby się upewnić, ale wydaje mi się, że ona wpadła na tego redaktora na ulicy, tylko to był taki trochę non-event. Tak. Dokładnie jak pamiętałem. Samo z siebie to nie jest wyborem. Ale mieliśmy wybór, czy się rozdzielić, czy iść razem z Chiaki. I ponieważ się rozdzieliliśmy, z tego co pamiętam... Nie, poszliśmy razem, ale Chiaki nas zgubiła. Pójść jeść drugi lunch w restauracji. Więc nie, może jak się rozdzielimy, to pójdziemy gdzieś indziej albo coś. To mi się wydaje, że powinno nas prawić timeline od wpicia się na redaktora. We should split up. A idziemy szukać recyklera, który ukradł Brinkhammerę. Thierry and I go our separate ways, searching for a truck full of junk. I make my way to center guy. I'm so focused on searching all over as I walk, I hope to lose track of where I'm going, and I wind up bumping right into a man who's hurrying along with his daughter. Czy... Okej, nie mogę przewijać dalej, czyli chyba to zmieniło nam jakoś tutaj timeline z braku Chiri. The man who's hurrying along with his daughter. Oh, pardon me. I hop back to my feet and go to bow to the man in apology. Oh. He bows at the same time that we managed to bonk our heads together. Sorry. As her dad drops to his knees, clutching his head, the girl begins to wander off. Hey, Hannah, wait! The man lurches to his feet and rushes after the girl. She seems like an odd kid, only 10 or so, but strangely cold and distant for her age. Nursing my own sore head, I make it all the way to Shibuya Station. There's no sign of the truck. I'll probably never find it just by wandering around randomly. It's already 12:35. The sales demo starts in 25 minutes. I have serious doubts I'll be able to find the truck by then. What should I do?
O, coś to chyba u Minorikały actually zmieniło. A reszta po staremu. Minorikawa się cofnął aż do wyboru z... teściem i narzeczoną Kano. Spróbujmy wziąć tą opcję, która, że tak powiem, ostatnim razem prowadziła dalej. Zaczyna się pikawa. What's that? Strange beeping out. Okay. Broke Mirukawa out of his writing reverie. Upon looking up in confusion, he found his attention drawn to a young woman at another table. And then one of these, and one of these. Oh, and this, and this, and this, and this. Oh, and that too. She finished with a broad grin. Let me just repeat your order back to you. 1 Japanese style beef patty, 1 spicy fish roll spaghetti, 1 chicken casserole, 1 French onion soup, 1 fruit parfait, 1 chocolate parfait, and 1 deluxe chocolate parfait. Will that be all? The waitress anxiously awaited confirmation. Ryoko Kakinuma, a second-year student at Minoriyama Academy's law school. She was hustled by a pair of hustlers on her way to work and showed up 5 minutes late for her shift. The manager told her that those 5 minutes were coming out of her pay, so she's a bit irritated right now. You forgot the large caramel shake. The customer was a full-figured young woman, ensconced at a nearby table. Oh, my apologies. The waitress quickly jotted down the addition to the order. That will do it for now, the young woman said. For now? Yikes! Smigu! Gdzieś w idealnej porze, gdzie zmieniliśmy timeline, zostawiając Chiri samą w searchu za Burning Hammerem i kiedy Minorikawa doszedł do bipiącego backtrackera, to Chiri pojawiła się w LeBlancu i zamówiła 7 potraw. A Minorikawa, no, nie chcę wszystkiego spoilować, bo warto nadrobić potem lukę na wodzie, ale Minorikawa wsadził palec w ryj dosłownie wszystkim przechodniom na Shibuya Crossingu, stojąc na pomniku Hachiko.
She's actually planning on ordering more after that? Marveling at this display of appetite, Minorika went back to typing. Now what? He heard the strange beeping sound again, subtly different than the first time. And this time, it was closer. Seriously, what the heck is that?
Okej, tak jak poprzednio, próbuję tą opcję, która nas prowadziła do dalszego plotu poprzednim razem. Okej, nie mogę skipować, czyli coś będzie dalej inaczej.
Well, never mind. I need to focus on finishing this article. Minorikawa immersed himself in his writing again. Before long, he stopped worrying about the curious sound. The plump young woman set about devouring all the food she'd ordered despite the strange looks she was getting. Now that was an appetite to be reckoned with. It took her under 3 minutes to polish off the lot. Then, looking not the least bit sated, she picked the menu right back up. Was she seriously going to order more? Minorikawa was starting to take an interest in this young lady. There might be a story here. He conjured up a series of headlines in his mind. Woman inhales 30,000 calories in 3 minutes. This is the equivalent of 100 pieces of shortcake, 300 glasses of milk, or enough steak and rice to feed about 30 people. No, he had something with more punch. Food for thought. An exposé on obesity. No, that was no good. He wasn't writing for a fashion mag here. A gourmet day in Shibuya. That was it. He'd be able to whip something up if he went with the foodie angle. Minorikawa got up from his seat. That's pretty impressive, he said to the hungry diner. Do you always eat that much? The young woman glared back at him. Not always, she said. Suddenly tension filled the air. Oops, was that way too blunt of me? I mean, she's a young lady after all. Maybe I should change up my approach. Who the heck are you anyway? The woman asked. I'm a freelance writer. I was hoping I could do an interview with you real quick. You want to interview me? The suspicion was plain on her face. I do. I mean, girls all over the world worry about their diets, right? I hear that, yeah. So would you be willing to share your secret? Or your technique or whatever? For how to eat without getting fat? What, me? Sure. I mean, look at the figure you're maintaining despite eating all this food. The young woman's expression brightened up. Oh, you noticed? There's actually a lot that goes into all this. Yeah? The basic thing though is to eat 10 meals a day. Minorikawa struggled to keep his jaw from dropping. 10 meals a day? She flashed him a chubby-cheeked grin. Hehe, you don't know how diets work, do ya? She chuckled. Eating only 1 or 2 meals a day? That's what will make you fat. You gotta space your food out into smaller portions throughout the day. That's the fundamentals of dieting right there. Right, but what happened to the smaller portions part? Minorikawa had to bite his tongue. Ah, I see, he said. Any other pro-dieting tips you could share? Well, for the basics, I'd say always drink protein instead of tea, yeah? Drink protein all day? Seriously? Once again, it took all of Minorikawa's willpower to keep his thoughts to himself. Let's see what else. Oh, there's this stuff called Burning Hammer too, but... She trailed off with a little wince. Wait, Minorikawa perked up. Did you say Burning Hammer? Oh, you know it? I've heard of it anyway, Minorikawa replied. He decided he was better off keeping his plans to head to the sales demo a secret. There's a sales demo later on, if you're interested, the woman said as she were reading his thoughts. Though, full disclosure, I am working for them right now. She handed Minoriko an advertising pamphlet. There was a more detailed map for the venue included. What a stroke of luck! Now he didn't need to rely on the crummy map in the project proposal anymore. He'd have no trouble finding the venue with the building's various floors all broken down for him. And actually, I got a backpack to work, the woman said. Sure, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to hang back and finish up my copy here. The woman left the cafe, and Minoriko went back to his laptop. Ciri, najlepszy pracownik, wiadomo, etyka pracy pełna. Oraz etyka ogólna. She'd gotten some new info on the Burning Hammers chase demo, but he'd also lost some more time. Surveillance camera piece still wasn't finished. It was going to be a near thing to get it done before the sales demo started. But instead of returning to his writing, he got out his cell phone. What if Toyama had got another of his crazy ideas? If he tried to hang himself again? The thought had Minoriko too worried to work on his copy. The phone rang several times before someone picked up. Mr. Toyama? Where are you right now? Minoriko asked. Right now? I'm on the run, somewhere near Shoto. Shoto, an upscale residential district. Despite being smack dab in the middle of the city, it's a quiet neighborhood, rife with greenery. The residence of the former governor of Tokyo is here, built on a massive 2,200 square meter plot of land. There's a shady hollow district a short walk to the south, making for quite the juxtaposition. Toyama was speaking in an oddly hushed tone. Shoto? No z command grabem to by, wiesz, nie... To by go jak kuzy nie zdybały, aby z command grabował i papek dalej. Shoto? After we left the office, some guys came by to collect on my debts. So I made a run for it. Okay, so he wasn't dead, but the situation was still pretty bad. Look, we'll get you through this somehow, Minoriko said, hoping it was true. Jak będzie stał tam, gdzie stał, wpadnie na jakuziarzy. Więc chyba musimy go wycofać do biura, żeby odblokować Kano. We need to get back to the office ASAP. The office? But they'll find me there for sure. Toyama's voice was little more than a pathetic whimper. It's a little bit of reverse psychology. The last place the debt collectors are gonna think you went is back to the office, right? I see, Toyama said. He's not impressed by the suggestion. For now, just stay hidden until I can get these articles finished. Alright, Toyama said weakly. He hung up. Minoriko let out a deep sigh, then turned back to his laptop. Wszystko kurczę na kipaucie, poza Achim. Kano nie był odblokowany. Więc najmądrzejszym do powiedzenia to zobaczyć, hej, może jednak to się nie działo w Shoto i trzeba mu było dać, żeby się siedział na dupie w Shoto. Może okłamałem swoich wiernych widzów. Just keep your head down and stay out of trouble. Stay where you are right now. Stay where I am? But what am I supposed to do? Toyama's voice dropped in and out. It sounded like he was moving quickly. Find some place to hide and just lay low for a while, Minoriko told him. All right, Toyama said weakly. He hung up. Minoriko let out a deep sigh and turned back to his laptop. No i zobaczmy, czy to odblokuje nam Kano. Nie. Więc pomyślmy. Możemy zobaczyć, czy zatrzymanie się trochę zbyt długo przybyłeś typa do szpitala, czy to zmieni w historii Kano? A jak nie, to zobaczymy, czy może u Kenjiego coś tam zmieni timeline. You're in the middle of a job, but I couldn't just leave him like this. I should probably take him to a hospital. Kano offered to help carry the bloodied young man, but Sasayama stepped in front of him. He quickly flashed to use his badge. Oh crap, you a cop? No niestety, to był fałszywy wybór, bo mogę przewijać w dół. Więc zobaczmy. 12:40. Czyli Watchiego wybór jest 5 minut w przyszłości. Więc nie powinien cokolwiek zmieniać. Ale proforma zobaczę, co to było. A, to było tam, czy rzucać tymi pudłami. To nieważne. Tak, tu mieliśmy wybór, czy się rozdzielić, to już to zrobiliśmy. Karaluch. Zrobiliśmy poprawnie. U Kenjiego były jakieś wybory. Okej, Tanaka Whispering to był tylko tam meme wybór, który raczej... Czy mamy gay panic? To nie powinien chyba nic zmieniać. Lab security. Actually. Patrząc na ten wybór co do kłócenia się z żoną, czy on nie jest... kwestia, czy ona wyjdzie do kawiarni, czy nie. Nie sądzę, żeby coś zmienił, ale spróbujmy. Proforma. As a child, his wife. It's only money. It doesn't matter. Only money? Are you serious? You have any idea how much we're talking about here? The ferocity in her voice left him with no response. He should have known better than to expect her to make sacrifices for his daughters. By now, he was accustomed to ice coldness toward the two girls. Twins were Osawa's daughters from his first wife, who had passed away 15 years earlier. Ai had no blood ties to Maria or Hitomi herself. Well, Ai continued, are the police going to reimburse us or not? Nie. Nic to raczej nie zmieniło. Keep Out 2 są o 12:35. Watchiego był jump spot. To na pewno... O! Nie można odblokować Minorikałę. To było to, czego szukałem. Yeah, grind his teeth. At roughly the same time, Minorikawa is grinding his teeth while trying to keep to his schedule. Mirukawa took a look at his wristwatch and gritted his teeth. By the way, what sort of impression do you have of this wristwatch? Just respond with whatever happens to come to mind. Proszę to zrobić w swojej głowie. Proszę napisać na czacie. Pierwsza rzecz, która wam przychodzi do głowy patrząc na ten zegarek. It's a setup. It's for a reason. To nie jest prawdopodobnie dobry powód, ale... Ale jest. Damn. Is it that late already? He needed to head for the sales demo. The surveillance camera article wasn't done, but he'd just have to leave it where it was for now. As he was slipping his laptop back into his bag, his cell phone rang. He looked at the screen and saw Chiaki's name listed as the incoming caller. Was she done with her interviews? Hurriedly, she picked up. Chiaki, how's it going? Several wet sniffles came through the receiver. Hey, are you crying? It's no use. Chiaki's voice was indeed punctuated by sobs. People won't stop to talk no matter how hard I try. Oh, come on. This again? Really? I can do it. Don't worry about paying me. Just please let me go home. Miruka was already operating on a too tight schedule. He didn't have time to worry about Chiaki on top of it all. Look, just slow down and take a breath. Try and keep at it a little longer. He should have seen this coming when he first called her. Her shyness was practically pathological. But if he cut her loose now, all this frustration would be for nothing. But I can't do it, Chiaki whined again. I'm sorry, I really am. Look, just calm down. Minoruka was practically screaming into his phone. Just stay where you are until I get there, okay? Got that? Whatever you do, just don't move. O, ciekawe czy ta fraza jest ta sama, że zostań tam, gdzie jesteś, czy na przykład właśnie kazanie redaktorowi stać tam, gdzie był, to nie wiecie, żeby wpadł na siebie i był zajęty gadaniem z nią i wtedy głupio jakościarzom wbić albo coś takiego. Leaving the money for his coffee on the table, he strode out of the cafe. Street interviews were tougher than they looked. Not many random passers-by were willing to stop and do a back and forth. Still, being able to talk to people on the street was a fundamental skill for a freelance reporter. All Minorukawa wanted was for Chiaki to... For Chiaki to put in a little effort and make it happen. Although he found her personality frustrating, he actually quite liked her writing. Reading her words, you'd never guess what she was like in person. If she could just break the right story, he was sure readers would be quite taken with her. There was no time like the present. The plaza outside Shibuya Station was as crowded as ever. Mirukawa looked around and soon spotted Chiaki. Hey, what are you doing? He asked. She was hunkered down in front of the statue of Hachiko, squatting in an odd position. A group of kindergarteners was gathered nearby, peering at her with sadness in their eyes, like she was a stray dog or something. A pair of girls from Midoriyama Academy's kindergarten. They always hang out around the train station after school. They're quite fond of killing time inside of the Tokyo 5000 series display car, the new landmark by the Hachiko entrance. The beat cop at the station's police box has nicknamed them the Kinderpartners. What's this all about? Minorukawa asked. This is how I end up when I lose all my self-confidence. I just wanna hide. Oh, for crying out loud, get up, will you? I don't want to... Stop crying. Chiaki sniffled and wiped at her eyes. Let me ask you this. Minorukawa stared down at her. What was it that made you want to be a freelance writer? Well, I guess because I wanted to try my hand at writing. A dangling bit of mucus bobbed in and out of Chiaki's left nostril as she spoke. Okay, Yurika followed. And why is that? Well, I'm too embarrassed to say. Chiaki hid her face in her hands. Okay, never mind that then. Right now, you have a task that's been handed to you. You can't just say you can do it. Minorikawa tried to keep his tone calm. No magazine in the world is going to let a novice writer just write about whatever they want. You have to prove yourself first. Get your fundamentals down. I already know all that. Minorikawa took the notebook from Chiaki's hands. Hey, she squeaked. Wait, you've only talked to one person so far? There sure wasn't going to be a story in that. Yeah. Well, not a person exactly. Hmm? Wait, what's this here? A cat? No, I mean, yes, there was a person in a cat costume. Ah, kolejny unlock. I thought since I couldn't see their face, it'd be easier to ask them stuff. Fine, whatever. Oh, triple combo w Chiaki z paluchów. Fatality. Fine, whatever. Now get back out there and get me some more. Narukawa steered Chiaki towards the passing crowd. What now? Yes, now. We've got no time to waste. I'll even stand by and watch for a minute. Now enough with the excuses, and get out there. Narukawa looked on as Chiaki wandered through the crowd. Her anxious demeanor seemed to repel everyone around her. The rare chance she did manage to flag someone down, the way she stammered through her initial questions made them take right off again. After a minute or two, she shuffled her way back, shoulders slumped. Skąd się wzięły te dzieciaki? Te dzieciaki po prostu patrolują Shibuya. To nie jest to, że jako dzieciaki mają dużo do roboty, a Chiaki jest tak żałosna, że przyłączyły się do Minerikały do gangowania na niej. Lub, przepraszam, jeśli chcesz sobie szczegółowo się dowiedzieć, to tutaj proszę jest dzieciakowy lore. See? It's hopeless. Okay, some advice. First off, you aren't approaching the right people. Some people are clearly in a rush, you know? You're not going to have much luck trying to flag down a businessman who's visibly in a hurry. No, folks who are waiting on someone, couples, groups, they're going to be less on their guard. But I mean, if I do manage to nab someone, how do I keep the conversation going? Chiaki asked. That was indeed the tricky part. Whenever I get an answer I'm not expecting, I get all flustered. Chiaki, have you ever played tennis? Tennis? Well, yeah. I was in my school's tennis club. She struck Minorikawa as being more the manga club type, but that was neither here nor there. Okay, this will make this simpler. What's more fun, rallying with an opponent or hitting the ball off a wall? Rallying with someone else, of course. Minorikawa gave her a hearty nod. And why is that? Because when you hit the ball off the wall, you already know where it's going to come back to. Revelation dawned on Chiaki's face. Oh! It's the same with interviews, Minorikawa said. Don't get flustered. Enjoy the rally. But I don't think I'm composed enough to enjoy it. Don't overthink things. Just let yourself enjoy the small talk. Small talk? Oh, I'm sure I'm not any good at that. She was starting to waffle again. Okay, let me ask you this, Minorikawa said, taking a step closer. Are you happy with your life right now? I'm not happy with my life right now, no, Chiaki muttered. She hung her head in dismay. Okay, so start with that, Minorikawa said. Huh? Chiaki blinked a few times as she lifted her head back up. I'm not happy with my life right now. But what about you? Like that. Oh, okay. A sliver of liveliness had crept back into Chiaki's voice. Minorikawa jabbed his finger right in her face. Right here, he said. Put on that face when you flag people down. Chiaki's smile widened. I'll give it a shot. Thank you so much. Sure thing. Good luck. Chiaki strode enthusiastically into the crowd. Oh, to Leland Palmer! And tried to flag down a Westerner who was walking hurriedly past. Ona ma Twin Peaks spooky music od razu, pan Palmer. Did she even listen to a word I said? Minorikawa felt his short-lived triumph melt away. Am I just going to have to teach her everything again from scratch? Then he paused in surprise. Hold on. Okay, good. Whoa! Chiaki had snatched the man by the arm in an attempt to get him to stop. To Minorikawa's amazement, the gambit worked. Before long, it looked like the two were engaged in some kind of animated conversation. Maybe she would get an interview out of this after all. Heck, the look on her face was actually somewhat confident. Sometimes people could surprise you once you got past their surface issues. Now, Minorikawa could head to the Burning Hammer sales demo with a little more peace of mind. Speaking of which... Crap, what time is it? In a panic, Minorikawa checked his wristwatch. Think about this wristwatch. That will tell you how you think about the opposite sex and whatnot. Smiglew, czy ty uważasz, że kobiety to podróba w chuj? Czy jesteś aż tak red pilled, że nie wierzysz w istnienie kobiet? Czy to są wszystko femboje tylko? To jest Big Soros konspiracji? To stop the incels? To homo lobby stworzyło społeczną iluzję, jaką są kobiety, żeby ludzie nie wiedzieli. Znali prawdę. The demo was set to start in less than 5 minutes. Uh-oh. He really was cutting it close. Minorikawa sprinted through the intersection, heading for center guide. To be continued. No to cóż. Minorikawa doleciał do końca i możemy skoczyć do Tamy. No, po pierwsze, każdy powód, żeby skoczyć do Tamy jest dobry. A po drugie, to może w jakiś sposób moment, czy jestem na właściwym tym. A po drugie, może to w jakiś sposób uratuje Jakuzę napastującą redaktora. Jakby, czy naprawdę Jakuza może być potężniejsza od Tamy, która potrzebuje 2000 jedów ASAP? What should I do? 20 000, przepraszam. Where could the truck that took the burning hammer possibly have gone? I'm standing there racking my brain when I heard a voice call out from behind me. Excuse me. Are you, happy with your life right now? I turned to see a woman holding a notebook. Huh? I mean just... Sorry. Do you mind if I ask you a couple questions? I do not have the time for this right now. I'm more than a little busy. Oh no, I mean I understand if you can't. She's giving me this hyper-intensive stare. I can't tell if she's trying to be intimidating or if she's actually afraid of me. Something about her is definitely off. Way too jittery and suspicious for my liking. Whatever she wants, I'd rather not get involved. I'm actually pretty busy, I say. Oh, but, I mean, just really quick. It'd be a huge help, please. But, please, I really, please. She bowed so many times it looked like one of those drinking birds. A toy bird, by means of a simple heat engine mechanism, causing it to continually dip its head into liquid and then rise back up. Sometimes falsely claimed to be a type of perpetual motion device, once a common sight in offices the world over. Chyba nie możemy zniszczyć timeline'u, skoro tu przyszliśmy od późniejszego Minorikały. Więc czy dajemy jej wywiad, czy nie dajemy wywiadu? Wydaje mi się, że to powinno tylko zmieniać jakby timing, kiedy różne osoby są w różnych miejscach. Więc czy chcę tutaj tamę lub psiaki przytrzymać, czy mieć ich szybciej w innym miejscu? Nie jestem pewien, wydaje mi się, że jedyne skutki tutaj to zmiana timeline'u u Kano i potencjalnie wsteczne rozwalenie sobie Minorikały, ale to będzie łatwo odkręcić. Dobra, jedyneczka. Scenki zakładające gadanie mają też taką odrobinkę większe prawdopodobieństwo, że może być jump spot po prostu ukryty w tekście, a chyba jeszcze Kenji potrzebuje jumpa. Od razu zwrócę uwagę na graffiti lewy dolny róg pod muralem, czy pod mozaiką, japoński bonus BGC. I can't help but feel bad for this poor girl. I guess I can give her at least a few moments of my time. Alright, but please make it quick. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. She goes back into drinking bird mode. So, what was the question? Oh, right. So, are you, happy with your life? Right now? Well, right now, as you can see, I am a cat. Oh, a cat. Yes, I see, a cat. So, yeah, I'll put down cat. She just writes the word cat in her notepad. Right, thank you. Are we finished already? Yes. Yes, we can finish right there. She hangs her head a little and looks away. Well, that sure was quick. I'm not sure I get what it was all about. Did they really give her enough to be useful? I doubt it. But hey, at least it was over fast. I head off in a search of the burning hammer once more. No matter where I wander, though, I don't spot the truck anywhere. Now there's only 15 minutes before the demo's supposed to start. I'd better make my way back to the venue. Maybe Chiri had better luck in her search. Sprzedawanie Burning Hammera bez Burning Hammera brzmi jak komplikacja. Back at the break room, I'm met by Mr. Yanagishita, who positively radiates despair. Did you find it? I'm sorry. I tried. Yanagishita's shoulders slump further at my response. Have you heard from Chiri? I ask. No, nothing yet. I guess she's our last hope. All of a sudden, Mr. Yanagishita holds up a pendant. The situation's rough. I'd like you to wear this. It's a miracle stone, like the one I saw back in the storeroom earlier. This ought to kick up your luck a notch. Now I see that Yanagishita is wearing another miracle stone around his own neck, using one bit of sham merchandise to help find another. Nice. This is the pinnacle of pitiful. That's what this is. Hurry up! Put it on! Before the luck runs out! Mr. Yanagishita's eyes are all bloodshot. Something tells me that refusing his request wouldn't be wise right now. After a moment's hesitation, I take hold of the pendant. The stone is blue and glittery. Is that Chiri? Mr. Nagishita squeaks. He whips out his phone. Ah, no, sorry. He mutters after listening for a moment. I think you have the wrong number. Guess it isn't Chiri after all. Okay. And yet, he stays on the line. Huh? Really? His tone suddenly does a complete 180. Yes, please, thank you so much. As soon as he hangs up, Yanagishita strikes a victory pose. This is a miracle! Burning Hammer is back, baby! Hmm? The recycling guy realized his mix-up and returned the boxes up the loading dock. Wydaje mi się, że jakbyście podjęli inny wybór, Alcim walcząc z wózkiem, to byśmy cię rozwalili całe Burning Hammer i ominąłby nas Yanagishita Dance. Wow, for real? You girls did great. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart. I've never seen someone come so close to literally jumping for joy. I'm going to go prep the demo room. Dama, you go bring the Burning Hammer inside. With that, Mr. Yanagishita practically flies out of the room. No way, I murmured to myself. This thing didn't actually work, did it? I examined the miracle stone more closely. It just looked like some kind of toy jewelry. I wish that I actually get paid my 20,000 yen. Hey, it's worth a shot. With the miracle stone still clutched in my hand, I hurry out to the loading dock. Ponieważ animacja jak Yanagishita wylatuje z pokoju, wygląda w ten sposób, że po prostu warstwa z niej jest przesunięta w prawo, że wyjdzie poza ekran. Zgadzam się i jedyne co tak właśnie szkoda, że ta gra powstała w tym 2008 bodajże, to że zrobili ją za wcześnie na pojawienie się memów robionych z stok zdjęć, YouTube'ów i tak dalej. Bo gdyby to już był e-thing, to myślę, że na bank by takie rzeczy robili w comedy scenkach. I brace myself before actually stepping out the door. It's not there. Where is it? I look and I look, but I see no sign whatsoever of any burning hammer. In a panic, I call the recycling guy. Well, I definitely returned it to the loading dock. I can assure you of that. If you're telling me it's not there right now, unfortunately, that isn't my responsibility. Hangs up. Didn't even sound like he cared. I look around a little more, but to no avail. Yeah, it's definitely not here. Did someone else take it? Maybe. As I hang my head in dismay, a middle-aged man in a sanitation uniform passes by, hauling a big garbage bag. O! Carlos, jeśli mi się wydaje, że się dzieje to, co mi się wydaje,
to wróciłeś akurat na Shenmue Forklift Fighting Action. Za minutkę. He flashes me a curious look. What do we do, Tama? Mr. Yanagishita freaks out when he hears the burning hammer is missing. Nie, to nie będzie jeszcze Pride, to będzie Shenmue Forklift Yakuza Combat. Please, you gotta give me something. I'm not really sure, sir. Pride wydaje mi się, że będzie w kolejnym rozdziale, czyli tak 13 do 15. Albo w następnym, albo za następnym, bo tak to już nie pamiętam. Ale wiem, w której lokacji będzie, o tak to może. Stan mojej pamięci wyjaśnię. I'm not... Please, you gotta give me something. I'm not really sure, sir. No, my boss is an even bigger wreck than he was before. This job is toast. Any money I was going to get paid is going up in smoke. Just like all my hopes and dreams at this point. I guess maybe we could try selling the Anagochis or something. It's not much of a suggestion, but it's all I've got. Mr. Nagishita looks at me intently. Wait, what did you just say? Huh? What did you just say? Or something? No, before that. I guess maybe you could try selling the Anagochis? I can almost see the wheels turning in his head as a smile slowly creeps back onto his face. That's it. That's it. That's it! I'm certain I see an actual gleam in his eye. Right then. I guess that's our only real option. No, wait. This is a sign. That burning hammer didn't just vanish by coincidence. Oh no. He drops to his feet, his eyes still positively aglow. Alright. See you later, Anagochis. We're about to knock you right out of the park. Carlo, dla ciebie szybkie wyjaśnienie. Anagochi to były podróbki Tamagotchi o węgorzach, które były jedną z wątpliwych decyzji inwestycyjnych pana Nagishity, naszego szefa. I probably don't need to tell you how the event goes down. We don't manage to sell even a single Anagochi. Turns out, hey, people are really creeped out by eels, and our customers have no problem letting us know that. Very impolitely, I might add, as they storm away in a huff. But Shiri said she liked eel salt broiled and in sushi. I hear Mr. Nagashita mutter to himself as I get ready to leave. If only we hadn't lost the burning hammer, things would have gone so much differently. Or no, maybe they'd have gone pretty much the same. You know, I probably should have listened to my gut earlier. Agreeing to take on this job has brought me nothing but trouble. Okej, wydaje mi się, że odblokowaniem tego to właśnie nasza walka z asasynem, gdzie były te inne opcje co zrobić z pudłami. Więc to zaraz spróbuję. Ale najpierw, tak trochę niefortunnie, że Carlos przyszedł, ale potrzebuję 2 minuteczki przerwy zdrowotnej na rzeczy i 2 minutki i wracam. Okej, już jestem. Niestety nie było to sranko. Było to, że tak powiem, dealowanie z resztką mojej grypy. Więc tak, kiedy po raz 1000 naszego Genda, naszego Yakuza Vigilante protagonista dogonił asasyn, trafiliśmy do alejki z paletami Burning Hammera. No i forklift combat ostatnim razem działał skutecznie, tylko że no zabraliśmy forklift, więc może po prostu jak rzucimy pudłami, to zniszczymy tylko część Burning Hammerów, a reszta jakby będzie jeszcze do sprzedania.
This guy just will not give up. At the far end of the alley, he could see a forklift parked beside a pile of cardboard boxes. Archie decided to throw the boxes at their pursuer. Boom! Archie snatched up the nearest box, turned, and threw it at the man with the cane. The box was filled with something heavy. This ought to do some damage. He watched with satisfaction as it struck the assassin in the face. The man staggered sideways. Here, have another! One by one, Archie hurled every box in the pile. And one for the road! The last box wasn't properly sealed. It broke open as it struck their pursuer, sending several bottles flying. They shattered as they crashed onto the street, splashing red liquid. The assassin dropped to one knee, scrubbing at his face with his hand.
O, w sumie to skuteczne, bo to jest super ostry chili sauce, to w oczach to jest jakby gaz pieprzowy tier.
Archie looked on in surprise. He couldn't possibly have hit the guy that hard. Peering at the man more closely, he saw that he was spattered in the red liquid. Apparently, the stuff in the bottles had gotten in his eyes. Now's our chance! Archie took off with Hitomi, leaving their pursuer kneeling in the alley. The ragged breathing echoed through the middle of the side street.
Okej, tutaj dalej wszystko jest już po staremu, u Echiego. Obrzydliwe jeszcze będzie jump do Kenji'ego z powrotem, żeby akurat w złym humorze skończyć streama. Więc czy uratowało przed Anagochi Bedendem? Dobra. Skipujemy aż do...
I wish that I actually get paid my 20,000 yen. Hey, it's worth a shot. With the miracle stone still clutching my hand, I hurry out to the loading dock. I brace myself before actually stepping out the door. It's there! It's really there! The cardboard boxes are scattered all around outside. Wait. Scattered all around? What happened to them? I suddenly have a very bad feeling about this. Apprehension gnaws at me as I open up one of the boxes. No! I shriek and my vision dims. The box is full of bottles of Burning Hammer, all of them smashed to pieces. To be continued.
Nie będę ukrywał, rozjebanie wszystkich butelek Burning Hammera trochę skomplikuje nam sprzedaż Burning Hammera. Ale też wydaje mi się, że w takim razie gdzieś jest chyba jump do Kenjiego Osały. I to on odblokuje nam Shinekano. Dobra, 12:20. To był jump do Minorikały. O! I tu był do. Dobra, jakaś losowa scenka. A, że z panem Tanaką wysłała SMS-a i Achi dostało ataku paniki, że ma turbo kochanka. A tam long jump do Kenjiego, którego unikaliśmy, bo dlaczego z własnej woli klikalibyśmy opcję grania Kenjiego, kiedy mogliśmy grać dalej Achim? Kenji, przypominam, utknęliśmy w zapchanym klozecie z naszym przydupasem i czasami też detektywem japońskim Colombo, rozmawiając tutaj o korporacyjnym spisku. Here, take a look at this. Huh? Osawa could never have anticipated what he saw on the LCD screen. It was an email from Hitomi. Stifling an exclamation, he scanned the contents of the message. There's a man following me. He has a gun, and I think he's trying to kill me. I'm safe for the moment, so try not to worry. The kidnapper told me not to contact my family or the police. Please keep this email a secret. But didn't Hitomi give the kidnapper the ransom? Osawa said. What could anyone want with her now? Tanaka shook his head, uncertain. He wouldn't know any better than I would, I suppose. Do the police know about this? And if so, why haven't they said anything? He felt himself start to tremble as he searched for answers in Tanaka's silent gaze. Do you think this could be related to that other thing? I doubt it. If it were, why would they go after Hitomi? I suppose you're right, but Osawa was shaking outright now. Tanaka laid a hand on his shoulder. First, just calm down, and let's think about what you know about the kidnapper. His composure helped Osawa keep himself under control. They've taken Maria, the vice director continued quietly, along with a ransom of 50 million yen. And now, they're after Hitomi. His gaze sharpened. Sir, do you think this could be someone who holds a personal grudge against you? A grudge? Osawa considered. He couldn't think of anyone who would have a reason to attack him. He'd been too caught up in virus research since his time in school to have formed any hostile rivalries. He didn't have any enemies that he knew of. Maybe someone's jealous that they became head of the laboratory, he suggested doubtfully. He had held his position for years at this point. Why would that spur someone into kidnapping his daughter now? Has anything happened recently? Tanaka asked. Anything strange since you got back from overseas? Since I got back? Osawa's heart skipped a beat, then started pumping faster. The first thing that came to mind was the solicitation he'd gotten from the American laboratory. If he accepted the offer, it would put Okoshi Pharmaceutical in quite a bind. Possibly enough to warrant someone holding a grudge over it. But the only other person who knew about the potential transfer right now was his wife. No, Osawa said. Nothing. Not that I can think of. He couldn't bring himself to discuss the transfer with Tanaka. He felt a surge of guilt for contemplating leaving his trusted assistant behind. If he did make the move to America,
He planned to recommend that Tanaka replace him as department director. Still, he didn't expect that to make up for his abandonment. Alright, I see what information I can find then, Tanaka said. The kidnapper had forbidden any contact with either family or the police. But Tanaka was outside of the circle, and he knew how to handle himself with discretion. I am sorry to have to put this on you, Sawa said, and thank you. For now, let's see if we can get Hitami to exchange some more emails. An uncomfortable thought suddenly occurred to Sawa. He blurted it out without thinking. Why do you have my daughter's contact information in your phone? Tanaka gave him a worried look. Sir, I promise I can explain once all this is over. And with that, he stepped out of the bathroom.
A w sumie dobre pytanie, czemu jakiś twój losowy asystent z roboty ma telefon do twojej córki?
Something in the tone of his final words left Sawa to wonder. Could it be that Tanaka and Hitomi were dating? He hoped clearly for that not to be the case. Her age difference alone made the idea a disturbing one, let alone so many other considerations. Mamoru Tanaka is 30 years old, Hitomi is 19. This makes him just over twice her age. It does not necessarily mean, however, that they could not date or fall for each other. Many couples with such an age difference between them wind up a happy, committed relationship. Trying to put aside his paranoia, Sawa resumed his struggle with the clog in the toilet. Most toilet clogs are caused by a buildup of flushable paper products, or by solid objects inadvertently dropped into the toilet bowl. But shockingly enough, on very rare occasions, they can be caused by someone taking a dump that happens to be that big that it gets stuck in the pipe. Apologies to anyone who might be eating right now. Oh goodness. Kajiwara reappeared, still toting the bucket. You seem to be having a lot of trouble here, sir. He made it sound like the whole mess was Sawa's fault. W ogóle Carlos, słowem wyjaśnienia, to ten pan to jest tak zwany japoński Colombo i japoński Colombo bardzo podejrzewa, że nasz jeden z protagonistów tutaj właśnie Kenji, znany wirusolog i ojciec dwóch kind of porwanych córek, coś tutaj ma jakieś sekrety na boku i jest trochę dziwny, żeby robić Colombo rzeczy. You seem to be having a lot of trouble there, sir. He made it sound like the whole mess was Osawa's fault. Of course I am. I've never had to do this before. Really? I'd think the research you do would be a lot more difficult than this. Fixing toilets give me far more trouble, I'd say. So it would seem. Kajiwara stood watching, as if Osawa's efforts made an interesting show. I don't know the first thing about viruses, sir, but I don't find unclogging toilets to be that difficult. Oh yeah? Osawa snapped. And how about you fix the damn thing? Kajiwara really was a world-class pro at pissing people off. Are you sure? You don't mind? The detective asked. Be my goddamn guest. Sawa shoved the plunger into Kajiwara's hand. Leaving the detective to handle the toilet, Sawa marched back to his study. He turned on the CD player and lay back on the sofa, squeezing his eyes shut. He was seriously on edge. Kajiwara had totally broken his stride. What now? The door to the study slid slowly open. It's Detective Kajiwara, sir. Please don't come in here without asking. My apologies, Mr. Osawa. I just wanted to inform you that the toilet has been fixed. Right, fine. Osawa hardly cared. He just wanted this guy to give him a little peace. Oh my. Is that really all you have to say, sir? Nary a compliment or encouraging word? Maybe a good job, Kajiwara, or you're getting a promotion, detective. Asawa blew out his breath in exasperation. How? How are you a detective? I'm not sure I get your meaning, sir. You are completely clueless. I'd like to ask your superiors to replace you with a detective who knows how to take his job seriously. Mr. Osawa, with all due respect, it's unusual for a precinct detective like me to be stationed here at the victim's house. What's your point? Not to brag, sir, but I happen to be an exceptional detective. Kajiwara beamed with pride. In fact, I made an excellent showing in the Superstar Detective contest we had on our police social media service. An online platform whose primary feature is allowing people to connect with one another. The police-exclusive social media network that Kajiwara belongs to, Foxy, is very strictly regulated, with any abusive language, slander, sexual content, or lame jokes deleted almost immediately. For a moment, Osawa thought the bolt of incredulous anger that shot through him was the onset of a stroke. How could a single person be so utterly infuriating? And you can't tell anyone about this, Kajiwara went on obliviously. But this summer, a new detective manga is starting up based on me. Planned for serialization in the MPD's monthly PR magazine. The chapter titles have already been decided. Chapter 1, The Fabled Detective Kaji. Chapter 2, Kaji Howls at the Sun. Chapter 3, Kaji Rides the Rails. Chapter 4, Kaji at Daybreak. Chapter 5, Detective Kajak. Chapter 6, Kaji, Queen of the Street. Chapter 7, Look Out, Kaji. Chapter 8, Kaji on the Edge. Chapter 9, Dance, Kaji, Dance. Chapter 10, Space Detective Kaji. And so forth, and so on. Chapter 6 is woke. Chapter 6 is woke. Osawa spat out a peal of faint laughter. A manga? I can tell you all about the plot, sir. Do you like to hear about it? I would not. It's about a telecommuting detective who solves major crimes using just his wits and his computer. Surely you'd like to hear about that, sir. I really wouldn't. I know I may not look it, but I'm pretty handy with computers. Kajiwara's eyes drifted over to Osawa's desk. His hand darted to the mouse. In a matter of moments, he cleared the screensaver and booted up a web browser. Hey! Osawa barked. Don't touch that. But he was too late to stop the detective. O nie! Kolomba się dowie o uzależnieniu od J-popowych piosenek Ai Kamiki. www. The monitor showed the page for Ayanet, a fan page devoted to Aya Kamiki. Osawa's imminent rage stroke was beginning to make his vision grow fuzzy. You come to this site regularly, sir? Regularly? Ah, well, I'm not sure I'd, Osawa trailed off, feeling the heat of a blush flare on his cheeks. There's a lot of stuff on this site. Is there a section you primarily spend time on? Well, I mean, for my part, I really only go to the fun forums for False 40 and over. Huh. With a twinkle of curiosity in his eyes, Kajiwara peered at the computer screen. Having his privacy invaded to this degree was the ultimate disgrace. Klika homepage, to się nie zmienia. Absolutnie. Alright, Osawa huffed. You're an amazing detective, Kajiwara. Just incredible. I see you in a new light now. Now, would you please? O! Czy wyrzucamy Kajiwarę? Czy wyrzucamy Kajiwarę? Czy we wściekłości wyrzucamy Kajiwarę? Sami wychodzimy z pokoju i zostawiamy Kajiwarę w pokoju z otwartym forum
J-Popperów, do których nalajfujemy, oraz naszą skrzynką pocztową, gdzie Edward Snowden nas świeżo oskarżył dowodami o zbrodnię z Resident Evil wirusem w Afryce. I nie kliknąłem pola, ale już pol jest. To jest spicy wybór, bo zależy jak bardzo pozwolimy Columbus bastować. No, 2 jest zdecydowanie spicy pickiem. Ale no też pytajmy, czy pozostali tutaj koledzy widzowie mają opinię. Pozostali koledzy mają poprawną opinię, więc...
Jedziemy. Please leave me alone. He got up to leave the study. Sir, hold on. There's something I wanted to give you. Kajiwara reached into his pocket. I don't need a damn banana. So I fled the room. He had to be alone, if only for a few moments. But even if I could somehow shake Kajiwara, the other detectives had eyes all over his house. He had reached the limits of his patience. He couldn't even think straight anymore. He headed for the back door, trying to avoid the police. Opening the door quietly, he slipped across the yard and out through the back fence. He didn't want to venture too far from the house. He found a tiny alley and took cover there, thankful for a few moments to himself at last.
O, wydaje mi się, że zrobiłem dobry wybór w tych... Kiedy te źle pamiętane rzeczy klikałem, że można blokować kano, to wydaje mi się, że teraz na tym zaprofitujemy. Wspomnienie mi się obudziło.
You hadn't been there long when he caught sight of a man and a young girl, a father and his daughter, running past on the main road.
Yep. Jesteśmy w Shoto Districtie dla bogatych ludzi, gdzie oczywiście, że mieszka Kenji i kazaliśmy redaktorowi tutaj zostać.
It looked as if they were running from something. The man flashed a look back over his shoulder, then took his daughter by the hand and pulled her off the road. He crouched behind some bushes, hiding. As he looked around, wild-eyed, he spotted Osawa watching him from the alleyway. "Help!" the man called out. "Help me! Please! If these guys catch me, Oh!" The father's eyes went wide when he got a look at Osawa's face. You're...
Huh?
Osawa thought he recognized this fugitive, too, though he couldn't remember from where. "There are some real nasty guys after us," the man said. "I know I have no right to ask you this, but please at least help me keep my daughter safe."
Probably you should go to the police if...
"No! They won't be able to help me with this. Please, I'm begging you, help me.
I'm sorry, but...
Please, if not me, then at least help my daughter."
The man pled. Osawa looked down at the girl.
Unlike her father, she was calm and reserved. She reminded him of Maria just a little.
No, wydaje mi się, że to też jest no-brainer. Ale pro forma spytam kolegów, znaczy czy pomagamy. Nie, to też mi się tak wydawało, ale to... Dużo dzisiaj bez pytania decyzji podejmowałem, więc...
So I couldn't just stand idly by. He decided to help them evade their pursuers. "All right, follow me." "Oh, thank you. Thank you so much." He led the two back to his house and the storage shed out back. "You can lay low in here for a while, if you like," he said. The shed was fairly large. There was plenty of space for the man and his daughter. "I'm so sorry," the man said. "I'm not sure how can I possibly thank you."
Don't worry.
Osawa closed the shed door and headed back out to take a look around. Two thuggish-looking men came running up to him. No doubt, these were the people the father and daughter were running from. "You there," said the one in sunglasses. "You see a guy and his daughter around here?" Teruo Toyama and his daughter Hana. They've come to Shoto while running from loan sharks. Just moments ago, Toyama was talking on the phone with Minorikawa. Co jest takim fałszywym jumpem? W sensie, możemy go użyć, ale trochę nie ma po co. Ale to też może dlatego, że w tej kolejności zrobiliśmy rzeczy. They should have come by this way. There was a hint of menace in his voice. The man and his daughter? Ah, yes. I think I saw them run through here. Which way did they go? That way. Sweet. We almost got him. The pair sped away. Osawa waited until they were fully out of sight and called out to the shed. All right, they're gone. The door stayed closed, however. I'm really sorry, the man called back from inside. Those guys might come back this way. Is it okay if we hide out here a little while longer? He sounded desperate. Pitiful, really. Sure, go ahead, Osawa said. With that, he headed back inside. Evidently, he just wasn't going to get any time alone today, no matter where he went. Osawa groaned inwardly when he got back to his study. "You're still there? Here?" "Yes, sir. I was told to keep my eyes on you, after all." "Believe me, it shows. Mr. Osawa, if you're going to go outside, I'd appreciate it if you let me know first." What? Had Kajiwara realized he'd snuck out of the house? But more importantly, Kajiwara reached back into his suit pocket. "I've been meaning to give this to you." He held out a small plastic bag. Inside was a scrap of paper of some sort. "What's that?" Osawa asked. "This is what was clogging the toilet, sir." With some hesitation, Osawa took hold of the bag. "Huh? That's..." The passenger name here is listed as Kenji Osawa. In the plastic bag was a plane ticket. Specifically, the one for his upcoming flight to the US the following week. He'd left it out on his desk. How had it wound up getting flushed down the toilet? "This looks like it's pretty important, sir," Kajiwara said. "I must say, it was pretty careless of you to accidentally flush it." A wry sort of smile came to his face. "Although," the detective added, "I suppose the question of who flushed it is another matter entirely." Osawa was at a loss for words. Someone had tried to flush his plane ticket on purpose. He was sure of it. He knocked on the door to Ai's room, but there was no response. It didn't look like she'd gotten back home yet. Osawa let himself in. The stinging scent of her perfume pervaded the room, which was decorated all in white. Clothes were strewn all about, as if to put her slovenliness on display. She'd been like this ever since they'd gotten married, and Osawa had long since stopped caring. It must have been Ai who tried to flush the ticket. He knew she didn't want him going to America, but still, couldn't she have found a better way to get rid of it? Thanks to her, he'd been stuck hunched over the damn toilet, fighting with the plunger. Osawa sat down on the bed amidst the brand-name clothing. Then, he spotted something odd down by his feet. It was a gold cigarette lighter. Just when had I picked up smoking? Osawa picked up the lighter and set it on the shelf next to the bed. He started out of the room, but stopped as he noticed a scrapbook on the bookshelf. The rest of the shelf was filled with fashion magazines, so the scrapbook definitely drew his eye. Curious, he took it down and opened it. The book was filled with articles and write-ups about the results of Osawa's research and the company's various achievements. Flipping through the pages took him on a trip down memory lane. There was even an old company memo welcoming Tanaka on board as his new vice director. There was a photo of Osawa shaking Tanaka's hand at the party, celebrating his new position. It was a little peculiar to think that she had bothered to keep something so trivial. A series of magazine articles was nestled between the pages further into the book. These hadn't been clipped out for inclusion in the scrapbook itself. Osawa glanced through them. Floundering Kokoshi Pharmaceutical arranges marriage of political convenience. It was a self-indulgent piece from some rag called Forster General Gossip, from right after he and I had gotten married. When the piece had first run, he'd been too furious to read it. Now, he gave it a quick looking over. It was pretty much exactly what he'd expected. It talked about how one of the corporate directors had sacrificed his own daughter in order to keep one of his researchers on board. Sacrifice. Allowing someone else to come to harm for one's personal gain. In this case, the term is used figuratively, not literally. Referring, of course, to Makino offering Osawa's Ai's hand in marriage. Rumors abound on marital strife between the newlyweds. The article went on to talk about how Ai had been dating another man before she and Osawa had gotten married. The whole thing was a bunch of puerile rubbish. Any marriage involves some kind of calculated self-interest, after all. Whatever the reasons for their union, nothing changed the fact that Ai was now his wife. With a faint sigh, Osawa put the scrapbook back on the shelf. Feeling disconsolate, he returned to his study and began flipping through his CD rack. His eyes scanned for Ayaka Miki's album, For Tomorrow, Forevermore. A lot of her more experimental numbers were on that album. Given how discombobulated he felt right now, this was what he needed to hear. Again, Osawa reflected on how there'd been a time when he didn't care about music at all. He'd simply purchased copies of the most popular CD of the moment as birthday presents for his two girls. And that just happened to be an album by Ayaka Miki. Hitomi was thrilled by the gift, but Maria hadn't seemed terribly fond of it. O nie, czemu jest forcza memy strzałka? The next day, she tossed her copy back on her father's desk. Figuring that throwing it away would be a waste, Osawa had stuck the CD into his computer to give it a listen. He was immediately bombarded by an intense beat, bolstered by bold, uplifting vocals. Ayaka Miki wrote her own lyrics, which did a fine job of conveying the emotions of a teenage girl. Osawa could hardly believe it. After listening to just one track, he was well and truly hooked. Before the day was out, he had purchased her entire discography. Huh? He muttered. For Tomorrow should have been in the CD rack, but there was no sign of it. Where the heck is it? Why isn't it here? For a moment, he wondered if he was going crazy, and then he remembered. It was at the lab. He wanted something to listen to on break at work, so he brought the album there. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Not being able to listen to it made him want to hear it all the more. It wasn't like he could just go out and buy another copy right now either. He'd just have to borrow the copy he'd given to Hitomi all those years ago. Unable to contain his need to hear that music, he went into Hitomi's room. A to do zobaczenia, Smiglew. Planuję tak właśnie tutaj skończyć tą godzinę. Resztówka Kenjiego i resztówka Kano. i zostawić, że tak powiem, teaser reel kolejnego rozdziału jako, wiesz, zajawkę na przyszły tydzień. Więc życzę miłego dnia i nadrobisz. There, he quickly rummaged through the CD rack beside his daughter's bed. Part of him felt like he was being a little sneak thief. According to the email Tanaka had shown him, someone was trying to kill Hitomi. Under the circumstances, he knew that what he was doing was ridiculous, and yet, he still couldn't resist the impulse to find the CD. His efforts were to no avail. There were no Ayaka Miki CDs in the rack at all. So I pulled out every CD on the rack, but they were all classical music. He slumped back in disappointment. Jezu, Hitomi naprawdę słucha tylko klasycznej? Achi, obawiam się, że to nie jest związek, na który jesteś gotowy. It had to be somewhere here in her room. Osawa jumped on the sound of his salad, fumbled to get it out of his pocket. Makino's name was displayed on the LCD screen. "I'm out front." That was all Makino said before hanging up. Hurriedly, Osawa began tidying up the CD rack. As he worked, he thought about what he was going to say to Makino. To think that someone had violated corporate policy to such unethical ends. It sullied his research. Osawa wasn't about to let anyone get away with it. And yet, as he was about to leave Hitomi's room, a sudden uncertainty gripped him. He hesitated. Did he have any right to condemn Makino for running trials in secret? His hand began to sweat as it gripped the doorknob. No, he didn't. How could he? His hands were dirty in all this, too. We need to keep this a secret, just between us. You'll be fine. We've already cleared animal testing. The memories hovered. Osawa himself had already administered the antiviral to someone, hadn't he? It was the only way. Kenji, wydaje mi się, że Edward Snowden miał może rację, kiedy zaczął cię szantażować. Jednak Resident Evil zbrodnie mają twoją rękę w sobie. Muttering to nobody in particular, Osawa trudged toward the front door of his house. To be continued. Więc teraz, jak uratowaliśmy pana redaktora, to akurat powinniśmy skończyć godzinę, robiąc ostatni kwadrans u Kano, gdzie, przypomnę, próbujemy na 2 baty zrobić obławę na kolejne przekazanie tej walizki z okupem. The 2 detectives took up position on opposite sides of the plaza. Kano called up Sasayama on his cell phone. "You ready?" he asked. "Just give the word." There were only 2 non-Japanese people in the nearby crowd. Both were eyeing their surroundings anxiously. Kano was certain the handoff was about to take place. Sure enough, the second man approached the one holding the attaché case. After exchanging a scant handful of words, he took the case and walked off. "Sasayama? I'll handle the guy with the case." "Got it." Sasayama broke into a run, chasing after the man who'd taken the ransom. Kano hung up his phone and rushed to close the distance with the other man. "You there! Stop where you are!" The suspect turned, and Kano recognized his face. He was indeed a member of the foreign crime syndicate that operated in Shibuya. Is the hostage safe? Kano demanded. The man's only response was an unsettling grin. Answer me! But though he repeated the question, the man remained silent. Kano... Okej, zapaliśmy białasa. Koledzy. Czy od razu kajdanki się nie pierdolić, to są groźni gangsterzy? Jeśli dobrze pamiętam, to ten typ dokładnie nas zastrzelił raz w pierwszej godzinie. O, z takimi trzeba krótko. Took out a pair of handcuffs and reached for the suspect's wrists. Handcuffs. Equipment used by the police officers to shackle suspects. In Japan, the belt that makes up part of the officer's duty uniform has a storage pouch for a pair of handcuffs. No okej, na spluwę, pałę i... handcuff. The man pulled a knife from his breast pocket and swung it right at Kano's face. Kano managed to jerk away in time. His momentum carried him too far backward, and he sprawled onto the pavement. Damn! The suspect was already making a run for it. Suddenly, a large car of foreign make skilled to a halt, blocking off the man's escape route. To jest Chevrolet Blazer. Whoa. A tall Caucasian man jumped out. He wore sunglasses and a crisp suit. Now cornered, the fleeing suspect brandished his knife. Be careful! But Kano didn't even have time to finish shouting his warning. There was a metallic ping, and the knife went flying through the air. The man in the sunglasses had snapped his right foot up, sending the weapon flying. The attacker's jaw dropped in astonishment. The newcomer proceeded to elbow him right in the face. The blow connected, and the suspect went down hard. Ah! Oh! The fallen man turned his head to look at Kano. His mouth moved as if he was attempting to say something. He never got it out. The man in the sunglasses kicked him in the face. With a groan, the perp slumped down, unconscious. Hey! Kano snapped. What the hell are you doing? He stormed over to the man with the sunglasses. To agent Gigachad. To jest dobra propozycja, ale nie może być wszystkich białasów. Agent Gigachad jest zbyt czadem. The man nonchalantly dusted off his suit. You were ordered to watch and see where these guys went, right? He spoke in fluent Japanese. Imagine that you are a Japanese person who has never been in a situation where you suddenly had to speak to a foreigner. You haven't used English in ages. Your tension grows. You think back to English class in school, but nothing you remember is helpful. You muster up the courage to choke out the stammered, do you? The foreigner responds fluently, in your own language. Nihongo go de daijoubu desu? It's alright. I speak Japanese. What happened to the Japanese sense of honor I've heard so much about? Who are you? I'm from the US Embassy's Regional Security Office, the man replied. US Embassy. An embassy is where ambassadors from a foreign country lodge and conduct much of their official and diplomatic business. Under international law, ambassadors are guaranteed diplomatic immunity, and the embassy grounds are considered territory of the home nation. The US Embassy's Regional Security Office is responsible for the security of American diplomatic facilities and personnel, and provides American citizens in Japan with information on public order. It is located in Akasaka, in the Minato ward of the Tokyo metropolis. He presented Kano with his ID. Jack Stanley. To jest dobre imię, w sensie... To jest taki Jason Hunt tier, shitty CIA agent... imię... Jack Stanley. His title was listed as Security Assistance Officer. Kano glanced at the car he'd shown up in. The license plate was blue, with white lettering. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs? But the ministry wouldn't just send some diplomat to intervene in a police investigation. Kano pulled his phone out of his pocket. Sasayama's name was displayed across the LCD screen. How are things on your end, Kano? I have the suspect in custody. How about you? Sasayama hesitated. He, just got away from me. What about the attaché case? I'm sorry, but he's still gotta be around here somewhere. I'm gonna look around some more. Sasayama hung up. What's your name, detective? Jack Stanley asked as Kano was processing this new information. Kano, from the Shibuya precinct. Alright, Kano. I'm going to need you to follow my instructions for the next while. Why is that? Instead of answering, Stanley took out his cell phone and made a quick call. After a few moments, he held the phone out for Kano. Here, permission from your boss, he said. What? Kano squawked. He took the phone gingerly, bracing himself. Kano speaking. You imbecile! What the hell are you thinking? It was Kuze, and was he furious? Understandably so, really. Kano had disobeyed the direct order, and for what? All he'd accomplished was losing track of the attaché case. I'm sorry, sir. You really think sorry is gonna cut it? You're off the force, Kano. Kano slumped, defeated. He had no reply. He knew he deserved whatever punishment he got. Still, orders from the top didn't trump the hostage's safety. If he could have gone back and done it all again, he was sure he'd make the same call. No, krócej. Wszystko ma swoje dobre i złe strony. Zła strona, zdjęli go z case'u, może stracić robotę. Z drugiej strony, początek nowej buddy cop przyjaźni z agentem Smithem. Maybe that meant he wasn't detective material, but so be it. That's what I want to tell you, Kuze continued. But for now, I need you to follow the instructions from the guy there, Stanley. Do whatever he tells you. Sir? Kano hadn't seen that one coming. He disobeyed orders. It was undeniable. And yes, he knew deserved the reprimand. But being ordered to tag along with some stranger who just turned up out of the blue? What the heck? Czy biorąc pod uwagę, że Stanley jest gigaczad agentem CIA, a Kano jest, jak już na poprzednich streamach zobaczyliśmy, najmniej kompetentnym gliniarzem w całym Tokio, to obawiam się, że właśnie został comedy sidekickiem. May I ask why the US Embassy is involved with this? No more questions, Kano. Step in line. Please just hold on. Sir, I have no idea what's going on here. Kuze let out an exasperated sigh. That makes two of us, kid. And with that, the director hung up. It sounded like even Kuze didn't have the whole story here, which meant that orders were coming from someplace higher. A foreign syndicate, moving the ransom around. The US Embassy. Whatever was going on, it was more than just a local kidnapping case. And Kano was deep in the middle of it. He handed the phone back to Stanley. A few moments later, two detectives from the MPD arrived on the scene. Stanley handed over the fallen criminal to them. You're chasing a bum lad, you know, Stanley said as he watched them carry the man away. What do you mean? Kano asked. I mean, this kidnapping isn't about the money. My priority is the girl's safety. Right now, your priority is doing what I tell you to do. Kano gave him a scowl, but Stanley ignored it. That guy we just, arrested, he asked. He tell you anything? No, nothing, Kano said. Really now? All trace of emotion drained from Stanley's eyes. His gaze pierced Kano like icy daggers. It held a glimmer of something dangerous. Something Kano had seen plenty of times since he joined the force. He wasn't looking into the eyes of some diplomatic liaison. No, it was a man who knew how to kill, who'd killed people before. With some effort, Kano managed to regather his sense of professionalism. He didn't tell me anything, he repeated. I just know that he's a member of some foreign crime syndicate that works out of Shibuya. He probably knows some of their hangouts. Show me, Stanley said, cool as an automaton. We'll take my car. Kano wiped away some of the sweat that had beaded on his brow as they headed for the vehicle. He was just sliding into the passenger seat when Kuza radioed over the wireless. Okie dokie, folks, listen up. The childish tone was back in his voice, full force. Kano stiffened on reflex. He knew what that meant. So, Hitomi Osawa has, like, gone missing? Tak po 2 godzinach od tego, co się zdarzyło. Oficjalnie ogłoszenie. Spoko. What? Kano couldn't believe his ears. Wasn't Tateno supposed to be protecting her right now? Also, Detective Tateno hasn't radioed in. And, like, we can't reach him for our end either? No way, Kano blurted out. It can't be. So, yeah, Kuza continued. He might have gotten up in this incident too? It wasn't like a detective of Tateno's stature to go incommunicado during an investigation. It could only mean that something had happened to him. Something major. To be continued. I moi drodzy, z dokładnością do połowy minuty nawet. O Jezu, nie! To był alt-tab. Nie zasługujesz, Kano. Won! Będzie głosowanie, kto idzie dalej, a nie tam samo klikanie się. W związku z tym doszliśmy się akurat do równiutko 3 godziny streama, rozdział zakończony. Idealna pora na pauzę i w przyszłym tygodniu zaczniemy zresztą z wszystkimi 5 storylinami, żeby głosować na to, który najbardziej lubimy. I tak wiem, że to będzie Tama, ale będziemy głosowali. I cóż, po pierwsze do zobaczenia za tydzień. Dziękuję za pojawienie się i partycypację. Karolu, fajnie, że wpadłeś. Jak gierka wygląda sympatycznie, to też przypominam, że na YouTubie wszystkie poprzednie 3 streamy są zarchiwizowane, więc do roboty sobie możesz wrzucić, dowiedzieć się, albo może nawet, bo sekundę, tylko muszę to wycofać się we właściwy sposób. Kurczę, chciałem się wycofać w właściwy sposób, żeby były te figurki postaci, ale nieważne, bo generalnie no jest jedna postać, której w ogóle dzisiaj nie zaznałeś nawet. Pomimo, że tak była jakby druga połowa rozdziału uzupełnianie storyline'ów, ale jeszcze najbardziej jakby combat intensive w sumie postać Achina, Vigilante Yakuza, gość, który jest trochę tutaj fan favoritem na streamie. Ale już tak gadam bez sensu, więc już tak no dozo naprawdę
Widzimy się za tydzień. Miłego wieczora.